What is up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. June started, and right away Hasbro was like, get hype, get ready, because it is now officially Yojo June. And right away, I thought we'd have to wait a couple days, but now Hasbro was like, we're jumping right into it. So much stuff to talk about, from the new Hot Toys Batman, from the Flash film, Power Town Wrestling shipping Wave 1 finally. So much other cool stuff. Can't wait to get into it. And of course, we're going to start, because it's June, the midway point of 2023. We're going to start with the progress reports. And because you guys demanded it by an overwhelming majority, we're going to lead off with Marvel Legends, take a look at how they've done so far in 2023, look at the outlook for the future and what's to come. But first off, let's just break it down and see what's going on. Everybody, let's see who's in the building with us right now. 80s kids from the 90s. What's up, brother? Glad to see you as always. What's up, Mickey Rowe? How are you? Robert's Infinite Realms. How it is doing awesome. Arctic Viper is up for pre-order. Yes, I got that sucker. Yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait to talk about him. Ski Raider, what's going on? My man Ryan. Wish I could stick around for the full stream, but I'm super busy tonight. I'll catch up later. Hey, thanks for showing up. As always, appreciate it. Join the replay crew. You'll see it. Everything will be there as always. Nolan, what is going on? Devin, how are you, brother? How's everything? All right, so let's talk first up with one of the things that I have been excited about. I know a lot of you all have been waiting to hear this news as well, as it feels like it's been a really, really long time coming. And we've been kind of going, all right, guys, we've been hearing all this stuff. Y'all have been hyping it up for a really long time. What's the news? And we're finally getting some news with Power Town Wrestling Wave 1 finally here, finally joining the party, and we can add them now to our collection. Let's take a look real fast here of the first wave. And apparently all but Kerry Von Erich is ready to go. But before I go into the rest of the show, I cannot go any further without saying thank you very much to all of my supporters for this channel. You guys are awesome. You keep everything rolling, the lights moving on this joint. Thank you so much. I appreciate every one of you. And thank you all for watching and supporting this fine channel. So Power Town Wrestling has started up, and now we're getting our first look at Wave 1. They're coming to us now. Madam TA, Bruiser Brody, Stan Hansen, Stan the Lariat Hansen, Vern Gagne, Luthez, that whole crew. There's apparently some issues going on with Kerry Von Erich, so we're not getting him right now, but the rest of them are apparently shipping right now. So that's exciting news. I know there's a bunch of us out there who've been waiting for him, and I can't wait to break down my 4 figures. I'll have to wait a little bit longer for Kerry, but getting Hansen and Brody will be really cool. Can't wait to put Brody next to my WWE Kerry Von Erich. That's gonna be cool. Stan Hansen beating up my WWE Lex Luger figure from the NWA era, and of course having Magnum TA belly to belly suplex my Tully Blanchard. So that's gonna be really fun. All right, so let's see who was up in here. 80s hits from the 90s. I'm hoping we get more classic Joes. Yeah, I can't imagine we're not going to. I'm going to have to break down the primer for what we can expect, but they're already so far ahead of me, I may not get to it. James Green, what's going on, man? That was a reference to Python Patrol, Crimson Guard, by the way. You know what? I'm going to wait for him, because I swore I wasn't getting the Python Patrol. I was like, this is lame. I'm not getting these guys. And then they're basically, Target was like, hey, here's a figure for $7. And I was like, well, okay, I guess I must pick this up at this price. And then they started putting more and more in clearance. And I said, well, I guess I'll just keep buying them. So I've got everyone they released so far. I've got the Bat, I've got the Viper, got the Cobra Officer, and Python Patrol is coming to the collection too. So I can't even avoid it any longer. It's coming. Roberts, yes, we're finally getting the Magnum TA, and I can't wait to get that old school classic US title. That's gonna be really cool. Or as Nikita Koloff would say, the USA title. So that's gonna be exciting. Mr. Me, really not liking any of the new reveals. Oh man, I was excited about them. When we break them down, I want to hear what didn't have you hyped and excited about them. James Green, great news about Power Town. Can't wait to get them. I know. I feel like it's been a long time, but we're finally getting them, and hopefully within the next 2 weeks, I can break them down and talk about them and still be excited after I open them up. 80s kids from the 90s, remind me why Hasbro forgot about the 10th anniversary for Black Series. dude, I don't love the Black series like we do. I really wish they would pay more love and attention to it because I just feel like there's so much more they could and should be doing for that line. But let's jump into it. It's June. I'm excited. I'm hyped up. And I want to hear what Mr. Me did not like about these guys. So let's start with these reveals that we got today from Yojo June right away. June 1st. Let's start it off. So to kick it off, we got Tiger Force Dusty. And I'm a little bit salty only because Dusty has the proper face paint now. You see it right around his eyes. And I felt like that's how they should have done the original one. And if this Joker is $7, I may get him just to swap the head sculpt because I love that paint job on Destiny so much more. Love the way they had the eyes, the eye paint going. But these pictures look really great, as always, seeing them in action. And it almost makes you feel like this is a pretty cool variant for Dusty here. I really love this one with him ducking the bullets and the gunfire. Just about everything from that original version. So no changes on that end. But I think that's a good variant for Dusty. And as far as I remember, we've got a Tiger Force Flint coming, or at least Tiger Force Flint. Wow, that's a mouthful. He's one of those members, so eventually we'll see him down the road as well. So I can't wait to see what that looks like. Maybe they'll change up his head sculpt and give him more of a Deshel Fairborn look. Let's see. And Robert, you forgot about the 10th anniversary of Black Series. So too did Hasbro. So we got Dusty, and he is really cool. I think they did a nice job with his variant. And then we get the Python Patrol. And despite everyone shaming Python Patrol, he is the only one so far that's sold out. And I kind of like these garish colors in the 6-inch format with the Crimson Guard. It's like the silver faceplate, the black mask, the Python, the Pythonization of the front there. I mean, these colors look kind of obnoxious, but for some reason, I think they really work with the Crimson Guardsmen. And got him taking aim here. These photos, again, look really great. See a whole squad of them. I looked really closely to see if there was any G.I. Joes that I didn't spot on that first glance. Like I already had the Python Patrol, Crimson Guard, the Arctic Back with Snow Job in those photos. Nothing that I saw, but I really like how this figure turns out. And because he's on Target, I know he'll be on sale later, but I really like the look at this guy. And apparently a lot of you guys did too, because he's sold all the way out. Toys equals midlife crisis squared like 4 times for me. The skin tone is different between the first version of Dusty to this one, so the neck and hands won't match up. Oh no. Let me see here. I wonder if I can just swap those parts out, because the way they did those guys, I feel like we could still make that work. So I think we could take his hands and swap them out a little hot water. In the neck joint might be the only thing that's tricky, but I think that could still work, hopefully, because I'd love to be able to switch them out just for no reason. There's so many great figures from Hasbro this year. You're absolutely right, 80s kids from the 90s. It is a bonanza of Hasbro great figures. We got those Marvel Legends. We got the G.I. Joe Classified series. We're getting some tricklings of really good figures from the Star Wars Black series, and of course, the Transformers with the Legacy series. And I'm really excited about those figures. The Mustard Guard. I like that. That's funny. I like that. I'm gonna have to use that big time for Noah. Thank you. That was funny. Mark J, what's going on? Commented, like, subscribe. Thank you so much for all 3. The Arctic Back is awesome. Still waiting for the original 13. We know Grunt is coming. He was one of those pipeline announcements back in October. So we're gonna see him. I'm assuming at some point in June. I'm hoping it's not just here's the grayscale and also the colored version later. I actually want to see prototype Grunt, and hopefully they don't change him up at all like they did Rock and Roll. I just want the straight up generic G.I. Joe outfit. So if I need to make any more versions, I can just use Grunt as my default Joe. And yeah, I want to do that with Grunt because he's one of my favorites for some reason, even though he has the really simple basic outfit. Robert's Infinite Realms. I've always been only lukewarm to Tiger Force and Python Patrol. I've got the originals, but not sure with Classified. So I didn't have any of them. I hated the concept in the 3.75-inch line, either version. The only time I thought they were kind of cool was in the comic books, and Larry Hama didn't go hardcore into any of those variant like Night Force and Tiger Force. He only used Python Patrol, but the issue with them was really cool, and how he implemented it was kind of neat. So I just so happened to reread G.I. Joe when they started putting them out. It's like, well, I guess there's a use for them. And then I watched Operation Dragonfire. And I was like, yes, I need them. So I guess we're going to see Copperhead as well coming up, since we know he's part of Python Patrol. So that'll probably work for him too. Kidrid, 1998. I have a question. What are your thoughts on the Spider-Man 3-pack? And that doesn't come with the unmasked heads, and then it's a Hasbro Pulse exclusive only. Hasbro should know people want things. Oh, see, I think that the price tag on that set was kind of ridiculous, because it was just a 3-pack. There was no head sculpts, and it was wild to me because Mafex is putting out those guys with the head sculpts, so you could get them the way they look, and clearly it's going to be a lot more, but I kind of feel like it's worth it. So here's what Hasbro gave us with this set. Just 3 figures, so that's more than, our normal setup here, because we got 3 figures and they're all in their different outfits. There's the Andrew Garfield, the Tom Holland, and then the Tobey Maguire version, and they weren't overflowing with accessories either. Got our web line, and I mean, they look cool, but I'm just not feeling. Here's a full look at the accessories. So we got the web lines for all 3, the same exact piece, different hands, the flip hands, 1 punching hand or 2 punching hands. Same deal with Tom Holland Spider-Man, and Tobey's has the same deal. And it's $89.99. So that is more expensive than the normal Marvel Legends figure. So it's basically, what is that, like $30 per figure with less stuff. And I don't think that's a great deal. And let me just take a look real fast, because I'm just curious now, because I kind of want to know what the price is if you decided to go the Mafex version of Spider-Man. All right, so let's see here. Of course, they're not going to cooperate with me and show me all these different versions, but I know they have them up here. I'm going to have to track them down, because I'm very curious now, because I feel like it's a way better deal to get those guys from them. All right, Firefly. Looks like they adjusted the colors on Dusty from earlier leaks. I wonder how good those photos were, or if it was just, I thought that wasn't just a leak. Like, we actually saw a Dusty figure from somebody. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how it looks when more people have them and more people start taking photos. By the way, it looks like the Marvel Legends Hawkeye and Sky Cycle is making its way to YouTube influencers. So wow, that's going to be coming a lot faster than I thought. Much like Ferris Bueller said, life comes at you fast, including Marvel Legends. So that'll be interesting. Amazing Spider-Man Legends figure looks spectacular. Well, or amazing. Quick Kick 2, yeah. And hopefully, I would love for him to have some frozen fudgies, some sandals, because I like the option of having him barefoot like he was with the original figure, but also, like, if he just so happens to be in the desert, he can walk around with some sandals too. Robert's Infinite Realms, that skin tone actually tracks to the original Tiger Force, because their skin tones are very different. Oh, that's interesting. Thank you. So now I'm glad you told me that, because of course I had no idea. James Green, I pre-ordered the bat, had to have him. Yeah, that Arctic bat is something special. It's a really cool looking figure. And speaking of, since you mentioned it, let's go to it. The Arctic bat. I loved how they broke this down. It wasn't just, hey, here's a basic bat, we repainted. They did some really cool stuff. So there's apparently polarization that they added to the technique, so it's not freezing up from the ice and snow and the elements. I love this camera piece here. That is really cool. And I just love the look of this color scheme for the bat. It's really sharp. It really makes that whole design look really great. So many different accessories with this. So we've got the generic Cobra Bat faceplate. We've got the crack one, so that's back. We didn't see that with the Crimson Guard version. Then there's another front piece that you can put on here as well. So this is a really different bat, and I love that they mix it up. So we got the handgun as well that goes into the holster. Then we got the backpack, the sniper rifle, and the coup de grace of accessories that is just spectacular, and something that fits so well for a bat, the chaos agent of Cobra, a chainsaw. That's just crazy. I mean, just having your bats running around with chainsaws, ripping through stuff. They kind of explain it that this is so they can cut through the ice, or G.I. Joes. And then they've got the polarized lens piece here. I think that's such a cool new addition to the bats. And I didn't really like the Crimson Bat idea, but I love them kind of making changes to the various bats based on their settings and scenarios. If you can see right here close enough, you can see that it actually says polarized. That's a really nice touch. So we got him here in the diorama shots from Hasbro, and that looks amazing with that chainsaw and everything going on with him. I mean, it is wild. And just a polarization helmet and the chest piece, and of course, a sniper rifle. That's a lot of cool stuff happening with this. And this is when low light snipes him out from a very long range, and it's just like, all right, time to keep it moving. Or Snow Job when he's balancing his skis to shoot him up to. These are cool, and I cannot wait to mass produce my army of Cobra bats, Arctic bats. I think these are really great variant of bats. What other ones would you guys like to see? So far, I've got a Python Patrol, we've got a Crimson Guard version, and now we've got a Snow version. What other ones would you like to see? Maybe a Sea version? That'd be kind of interesting. I also just got the Marvel Legends Ultimate Captain America. Is a really good figure, and the best part, he's panelist. Oh, okay, pinless, and every joint's possible. Cool. I saw them finally for the first time at my Target. Saw the whole wave minus. I shouldn't say that whole wave. I saw most of the Puff Adder wave minus Molecule Man, Wonder Man, and the Orb. Seeing Yelena, Iron Man, Captain America, and Baron von Strucker. I guess those three are holding out at Target. But I did see the entire Build-A-Figure X-Men Chode wave, so that was exciting to see. And hopefully Target has a sale soon so I can actually make use of that. Skew Raider and Chuckles. Yes, Chuckles is coming as well. Can't wait to see what they do with him. I almost want to see if they make him a little bit burly like he was in G.I. Joe the movie, even though it's totally different from how his whole portrayal was as an undercover agent. He was like a mute in the movie, but I just like that he was bigger and thicker than everybody. What's up, Kelly? You did make it. How you doing? Hasbro tax. Am I right? Yeah, it's kind of real out there. Roberts, if the rumors are true, single packs with swappable heads is true, I think people who bought the 3-pack will be mad. Yes. So there's a rumor running around. My boys put me hip to this, I think just today, actually. And so if you guys have not heard, that wave is going to be. Yeah. All right. Wow. There's a lot of text between us. Let me pull it back up here. Okay, there we go. Rectangular guy, the one who breaks all the scoops on Marvel Legends, says there are 3 Spider-Men with all unmasked heads, a Matt Murdock, Mary Jane, Green Goblin, and Sandman. Not sure if Sandman's going to be the Build-A-Figure or if that rumored deluxe Dr. Octopus is going to be, I don't know. But that's going to be really interesting for everybody who dropped $90 on that 3-pack, which doesn't have a lot of great accessories. And I wonder if this wave is going to have a Build-A-Figure. So I would feel really upset if I got the 3-pack, but it was way too much for me, and I was not going to get mad because that wasn't going to work for me. Kelly, Spider-Man tax again, especially for the movie ones, right? 80s kids from the 90s. I'm smart enough to wait for single releases. Yeah, I mean, I felt like they really would have made people buy that set for $90 for 3 figures if it had released at the exact same time as a movie. But it's been how long since No Way Home now? I mean, they've done like 6 Marvel movies, 5 shows since then. I mean, the buzz, the excitement for that is kind of past, but I don't know. Maybe people are still hyped up and excited about it, but I know I wasn't, so whatever. Mickey Rowe, do I think G.I. Joe Classified will make a repaint of Baroness in her blue attire and green glasses? I wonder. I feel like she might be better served now as like a Pulse exclusive because we've got that retro Baroness that's still languishing on pegs at Walmart. So I don't know if that's really the best route for her, but I'd like to see that look just because it's how she looked in the comic book back in the day. I know there's not a lot of demand for her, but I would absolutely buy a 2-pack of Baroness in her blue and Adeline Burkhart, Operation Doomsday, so I can do my full G.I. Joe issue 1 reenactment. So I don't know. Let me know if anybody else cares about that idea for a 2-pack. By the way, average cost of Mayfex is around $90 to $100 per figure. So the same set of Mayfex would be $300 versus $90. I don't know if you can catch them on the right time. You can get some pretty decent deals. Maybe they're $60 in some cases if you track the right Amazon drop. Mezco just dropped their Firefly. It looks good. You should check it out. Well, why don't we all check it out? because yes, I did want to mention him as well. He looks really spectacular, and these Mezco figures are always cool, but I think sometimes they really knock this out. Like this camouflage on Firefly is awesome. The scar on the head sculpt really looks strong. I mean, this looks like the 3.75-inch version with some cloth outfits and all those great accessories. Got 3 interchangeable head portraits. He is going way off in this last one here, a little bit more sinister and intense. I love how all the Firefly head sculpts are him being just mad in various ways. 10 interchangeable hands, the Cobra base, and the stand. Then we got him in action. He's planting some dynamite. He's going super old school with his bomb techniques. And I love that one. He's just reveling in the carnage he's now created. The explosions, loud explosions. I know that's Monkey Wrench's deal, but yeah, really cool. His submachine gun looks amazing. I haven't got many of these or any of these, but Firefly and Destro really started to pique my interest in this line. Let me know if you guys are collecting those and then what you think. Are you excited about this Firefly? Because this guy looks really amazing. He's got his little roll buggy here, his RC tablet device for it. Firefly in action. I love seeing those drones with the other masks coming up there, the goggles. So really cool looking figure. So many different accessories. He's got the goggles, a backpack, so you can kind of get more of a classified series look. 2 strips of dynamite, some grenades, 6 of them, different styles. He's got some knives, some wire cutters, walkie-talkie, small scale detonators. And then, it's just, and then he's got some smoke trails as well. So lots of great stuff with him. Submachine gun, fire effects, empty clips, pouches, thigh, wrist communicators. Firefly is loaded. He's $112. I don't think that's a terrible price given what you're getting for him. Those figures, they put a lot of work and effort into them. So I'm not hating on that price tag, but really good looking Firefly. Robert's Infinite Realms. I like some of the new stuff with the Arctic Bat. I'm bending on that one. I mean, I'm feeling like 4 might not be enough. Maybe 5 would work. I'm glad that that's not like a Target exclusive or a Pulse exclusive, I should say, because we can't wait on any sales if we go with that route. Firefly, we were just talking about you. The Arctic Bat is amazing. I'll buy them in pink if they release them. I wonder what that would be. Would that be the volcano version? I don't know. Wherever there's trouble, G.I. Joe is there. Yes, sorry. What's up, Rodney? Good evening. Did you take advantage of those Joe pre-orders this evening? Yes, sir. I ordered 4 Arctic Bats, 2 Trouble Bubbles. I'll wait on the Target exclusive Python, Crimson Guard release dates. Yeah, they're going to be at Target, and those are the ones that we won't have to worry about the price. So that's always great to see it. Kidrick, of all the DC Multiverse figures, what is the best? Batman figure that's in the classic like blue and gray, because that suit is now one I like. We're going to talk about that soon. Because that one's very exciting. Deep Sea Bat. I know. What would the colors be like for Deep Sea Bat? I feel like they've done some really cool stuff, and now we're seeing the polarized lens, the chest piece. I would love to see what they would do with a with a Deep Sea Bat. That'd be really fun. Marvin McBride. Yes, Deep Sea Bat and Stealth Bat too. So yeah, maybe they put a hood on a bat for this stealth. That'd be cool. I'd love to see what they do on there. Uni Warrior Thomas, thank you so much. God Extremis Iron Man, Marvel Legends Iron Man. What do you think? Is it the definitive Civil War era version of Iron Man? It looks really good, and I think we might be discussing him later as I break down that Marvel Legends progress report. Let me know what you think. 80s kid from the 90s. I'm waiting for the DC Multiverse Superman. When will it go for pre-order? I guess later on this month. We were holding out forever for that Nightfall Batman. We just finally got him yesterday, and still waiting on Steel, Tim Drake, Robin. So hopefully soon. Maybe they're just doing them in batches of 3. So I guess those will be the next 3. Nekatsuни Terrors. Which ones do you want them to do? I feel like they've done a lot of really good figures on those. I can't really think of one based off of who they've knocked out so far. And man, for real, I think you may have gotten me on that. Maybe Cloverfield? I don't know. I like the Cloverfield movie point of view. I don't know. I have to think about that. You actually caught me. Wait, more No Way Home figures? Yes, you need Warrior Thomas. We're supposedly getting a whole other wave. And it's wild because that movie is so old. And I'm just trying to think of all of the movies we've gotten figures for since then. We've gotten Thor Love and Thunder, Guardians of the Galaxy Wave 3 or Volume 3, Ant-Man, Quantum Mania. The Shang-Chi came out after that too, right? Black Widow. I feel like there's been a lot of stuff that have come out since that point. Maybe not Black Widow. Was anyone able to place their orders for Valiverse, Carrick, and Bone Collector reissue? The site crashed yesterday. Hopefully you guys were. Am I geared up for the Valiverse Action Point exclusive? I need to get a Valiverse action figure. They look kind of cool. I still haven't made the plunge into them. I finally got my Super 7 Silverhawks. Really excited about those. I got Steel Will, Bluegrass, and Windhammer. Windhammer is amazing, really fun. Yet to open Bluegrass, but Steel Will had some elbow pain issues, but it's really cool having Silverhawks figures. And you guys suggested I dive into that. So I winged it and grabbed them. And so let me know which Valiverse figure I should make my first purchase on with them. Warrior Thomas, I'm still waiting on a Marvel Legends She-Hulk Disney Plus version of Daredevil. That is an excellent point. I feel like the reception for that wasn't awesome, so we might not see any more figures from She-Hulk outside of that really spectacular She-Hulk from the show. Now, I know there's a lot of hate on the show, but that She-Hulk figure was really, really great. Toys equals a Midlife Crisis Squared. The rumor mill states that there will be a Crimson Baroness with Crimson Twins as an exclusive. I've heard that rumor too. That one doesn't really excite me. I know they've done that exclusive pack with Baroness, the twins, and Crimson. I don't know. I thought it was cooler having the Crimson Guards with a little Scarlet, little Crimson, and still rocking the Cobra Blue. And it was kind of neat to have them blue surrounded by this army of red. You know, kind of helps them stand out even more because they're twins. When will the Keaton Batman multiverse figure be in stock again? No idea, but you know, it's one of those deals where if you see it, you probably need to grab it right away. Kelly Cox, that Mezco Firefly is unbelievable. It really is. I feel like they're cranking those figures out a little bit too slow for people to get really excited and hyped up about it. But if, say, they were to do 10 Joes a year, I think they would have so many more people onto their figures because each one I see looks really spectacular. And Firefly is definitely one of the standouts of the line. James Green, the Mezco Destro is great. I had that one. Yeah, it looks like a figure that's really cool, and they packed a lot of great accessories and details in that one too. JAQ. Dang, just got home and I missed all these reveals. The reveals just kind of dropped out of nowhere. I mean, I just happened to be scrolling on Instagram. I was like, wait, why is Lenny and Emily here already? Oh, shoot, it's a 9-minute display of figures that are coming out. And there's still one more that I haven't broken down just yet either. So let's get to that. So this one to me was the one I was most excited about. That Televiper, the Cobra Flight Pod, Trouble Bubble, and that's 79 in the series. And this one I was so hyped up for, and I was just hoping it wasn't gonna be $100 because I really wanted it. And I think $54.99 is a fair price. You know, when you consider the Joes now are 25 on their own, Televiper has a good amount of detail. 2 additional head portraits, got that classic Televiper gun and backpack. I'm not quite sure what this device is here, but it looks cool. But I like that. So that essentially means that the Trouble Bubble is $30. Not a bad price for that. I think that was kind of along the lines of what I think they could get away with these smaller scale vehicles. So if we use the Trouble Bubble as our guide, so figure and something around that size, I think they could do a lot. I just posted a video yesterday of 10 mini size vehicles that G.I. Joes and Cobra could use for Hasbro's line. And I think this really qualifies as that. So here's the quick breakdown of everything. It looks really good. Nice scale to it. It's not too big, not too massive. So you can get 3 for all 3 of those head portraits. And I think that would be really cool. And here's the Televiper fighting off the Steel Brigade in the background, but we knew they were coming, so not as big a surprise as some other figures they snuck in on us. And here's the Televiper holding that device, whatever it is. and then he's fixing up the televibe or trouble bubble, aiming it, arming it with some missiles. That's nice to see. Here's an old school panel. I really think that's neat. And then the seatbelt tabs in, so you can put pretty much any Cobra in there. That's exciting. But yeah, this is great seeing him in. But this is my favorite picture by far. I can almost hear the Yo Joe, G.I. Joe, the movie background playing while these televipers and their trouble bubbles are flowing all over. I know there was a lot of people who were upset. Some of you guys reached out to me and were like, what do you think about them making the trouble bubble an exclusive to the Pulse? And I felt like we've seen so many discounted figures and vehicle sets at Target that Ram cycle 2 times. You know, it was going down to $20. Some people were finding it even cheaper, 15. So that's not a huge surprise. I kind of wish that they had gotten the trouble bubble out to Target before we did a Tiger Force repaint of the Ram, because, you know, if there were trouble bubbles on sale for say $10, I'd have like 30. So I wish we could have gotten them, but I don't think this price point is too bad. The Televipers are characters that can kind of army build just fine, and you can have a whole army of them, and trouble bubbles flying around with Cobra Commander, Destro, Major Blood, Baroness, Firefly, whoever. I think it's kind of cool. And because they're not sold out, I think that's kind of encouraging. So maybe when there's like a Hasbro Pulse big sale, they'll still be around so we can stock up on them. I know there are some people worried about them limiting the amount, unlike some of those other army builders like the Scrolls and AIM and etc. Doesn't look like there's a limit. I think maybe 20. So maybe we'll see a bunch of people with really great space in their displays and they have 20 trouble bubbles. But I think this is a pretty decent way to get them. And we get a figure, so I don't feel too ripped off on it. What do you guys think? Kidred 1998 says, I don't know if you know about this, but back in 2018, during the release of Infinity War, summer that year, Hot Toys Curvis Glade, but it never got released yet at Avengers Infinity War. You know, I do remember seeing that now that you mentioned it. That's funny. It had been, yeah, I remember seeing that figure, and yeah, it didn't actually come through for us. Now I'm going to look and see if I can find that figure. Yeah, I do remember that picture, and they teased it. I think you can still find it, or yes, you can still see it right here on Sideshow Collectibles website. Wow, that is crazy. But you're right, here it is. Corvus Glaive coming soon, and he's not been coming soon. Meanwhile, we still got like 80 versions of Iron Man still coming. But yeah, that's true. It's crazy. Forgot about that. JQ, excited for the Trouble Bubble and Arctic Bats. I feel like that's the prevailing thought, even though the Python Patrol Crimson Guard was the one thing from today's reveals that sold out. But yeah, I'm wondering how many of those they sold. And I'm hoping it was enough that people were excited, and Hasbro's G.I. Joe team was even more excited. Like, yes, now we know an avenue that we can get these smaller vehicles out to people, and they're not too expensive. I think a $30 Trouble Bubble is right around the realm that thing should be. And I'm paying for a figure too that I would buy. So that's cool. I'm glad it's an army builder and not, say, Baroness in her blue attire, because then I'd have an army of Baroness in her blue attire. I think if they ever have any trouble, they could always do a Cobra Trooper, an Alley Viper, and just throw it in with any vehicle, and we will be happy to army build that way. Kidger 1998, what's the most successful movie that year? Oh, yes. I think you're saying Infinity War. Yes, it was. It was great. One of my favorite movies, period. James Green, yes, I had to get 5 bats. Nice. See, that's going to be fun. And depending on what this HasLab is, if you got a snowcat to barrel over 5 Arctic bats, that would be really awesome. Will Hasbro celebrate Rebels next year? No. Also, when do you think we get our Ahsoka figures? I don't know. They've been pretty good about the TV shows. So, like, as soon as they come out, we were seeing prototypes of the Black Series. So, you know, we saw Andor's first wave pretty soon after it started. So, probably not that long from now. And because they've already got the heads up on who's going to be in their designs, I think Hasbro might surprise us and actually have most of them up sooner than later. All things toys. We need an updated classified Baroness with double jointed elbows. Yeah, that was a real problem with that figure. I mean, she looks good, but her functionality outside of riding on a motorcycle is not great, especially when Baroness is just one of those all around fighters and she can't really do too much. I'm with you. We definitely need a better version of Baroness. She's too important not to. I like that one too. Firefly, you think Postcon would be Crimson Baroness and Twins 3-pack? I think my wallet would really appreciate it if that were the 3-pack. I'm curious if we're going to see a San Diego Comic Con exclusive because we know, based off of the very not so subtle tease, what's coming up. They just posted this after the big reveal earlier. Joe HasLab, June 5th at 11 a.m. And they said, Emily was like, listen, this is where we're going to reveal the HasLab. So get your guesses in and let us know what you want to see and see if you're right. And so I put out a very quick poll for you guys. What is your best guess for what this Joe HasLab is going to be? So let's see here with 76 votes, who is in the lead? Let's see. We have the Dragonfly, we've got Snowcat with Frostbite, Mobat with Steeler. And these are just my random guesses as to what I thought was going to come out. So let's see, because apparently I can't see the percentages, and I guess you all can't either. So the Dragonfly with Wild Bill came in with a whopping 67%. Snowcat and Frostbite were 9%, and the Mobat with Steeler was 24%. So that is definitely the one that you guys want to see. So I'm really curious to see what we get from this HasLab. I'm pulling Hope. I mean, I don't really care. Any of those three I'd be fine with. And I'm rocking my G.I. Joe issue 1 shirt so you can see it. I want to get the original 13 in this. So of course I would be upset with getting the Mobat. Be really hyped up to see it. So, but Wild Bill and Dragonfly, maybe with Airborne as the tier 1 reveal, I wouldn't be upset about it. When that drops, I'm sure it'll be like from 11:30. I'm going to be doing another live talking about the HasLab, my excitement and all that good stuff. So Monday, be back here. I will be talking about it. 80s here from the 90s of Rebels, Rex, Callus, Ezra, and Vizago would be nice. I mean, we need so many characters from Rebels. It's just wild how many we still need. What do I think the price will be on the new HasLab? You know, that is the real question, because I feel like you don't need to go too hard with the prices of this. I think the best HasLabs have been the ones that aren't so ridiculously expensive and that actually work. So let's take a look here at what they have done. All right, so in production, Fun and Complete, the Transformers Generations, Death SARS. So let's take a look at this, for example. This was $179, and I really think that the Transformers team understands what to do with their HasLabs. So the target was 11,000. They sold 27,442, or they had that many backers. So I shouldn't say they sold that many, but look at that. That's a massive increase over just what they were setting for their target. And I want to look real fast here. So 14,000, they got that first tier unlocked. 17,000 tier 2 unlocked, and that's all they had. That was all the tiers. So for 17,000, they got an extra 10,000 on top of what they needed to fully fund this thing. I think if they were to put out a Dragonfly for under $200, it would sell way beyond their expectations. They could throw in 4 figures. It would be amazing. It would be awesome. I think everyone would be really excited. Now, I think if you take a look at this thing, which was a little bit more, I don't know if it's a little bit more space. That price tag was $299. Target was 8,000. You see clearly the demand for G.I. Joe HasLabs. This was 26,772 backers. So a ton of people clearly wanted their first G.I. Joe vehicle. And I think some of that was, hey, Hasbro, we want more HasLab G.I. Joe vehicles. We want G.I. Joe vehicles. We're going to show you just how much we want them and blow away every expectation for these HasLab tiers. We're going to knock them out so fast. We're going to be like, hey, can we get some more tiers in this thing? All right. So, geez, so much stuff on here. So the final tier for that one was 16,000 backers. Again, really blew it away. had so much more than that original tier, another 10,000 over that original. I think if we get another big scale vehicle like a Mobat, I think that 299 isn't terrible, but I think for Dragonfly, unless they're throwing in all kinds of really crazy lighting and the blades rotate, I don't think it needs to be closer to 300. I think 200 is better. And if they just add in some effects and airborne with Wild Bill, I think that's all we really need from that. So hopefully it won't be too ridiculous. JQ, Action Force, our great line, goes perfectly with classified first figure. I think Pandora is a solid one. Thank you. I'll put that down as one of mine to get. Stacy, I'm watching to see what shirt she'll be wearing this month. Is that one of your favorites? The best still to come. So I'm going to spoil my new sort of favorite G.I. Joe shirt is this WWE John Cena one, which I don't really buy a whole bunch of WWE shirts whatsoever, but this one so appealed to everything with my G.I. Joe fandom and thinking John Cena is pretty cool too. But yeah, let me throw this up so you all can see it. I mean, this thing is wild. It's just so cool. Let's see. Let's do that so y'all can see it. But it's really cool. I think this is a really fun shirt. And here it is. John Cena rocking the G.I. Joe style shirt. And even better, it's got this back which has Joe paraphernalia on it. It's really cool. And it just is like, hey, here's John Cena. You can see him. I'm trying to see if I can pull up this picture so you guys can see the back of it, but it's spectacular. And so you can get a sense of what it looks like. It's great. So it's got a file card for John Cena, and I will definitely be rocking this. All the different aliases of John Cena during his WWF career, WWE career. I love that thing. I think it's really cool. So definitely be rocking that. So that'll be one I will be wearing at some point during Yojo June. March, I hope you got that Silverhawks reference. Thank you. I agree 100% with updating Baroness. Since Hasbro used single joint elbows on the up and coming female steel core figures, that doesn't give me hope they'll update Baroness. Oh no, that's not good. I really thought they had updated everything. Is this the same with the? Let's take a look here because I'm curious if this is also well. There's some good news on that front because it seems like the Cobra Valkyries do have double jointed elbows. So I don't know what the deal was with the Steel Brigade, but at least the Valkyrie pack has double jointed elbows, so it's not a problem with them. I wonder why they opted with that if we had a double jointed female mold. That's weird. Kidred, I'd love to see Phantom of the Paradise 1974's Nakatooni Terror figures, and they should do the Phantom, Sean, Beef, Juicy Fruits, and the Undead. All right. I agree with JQ. Action Force figures are the perfect match to Classified, especially the Army build Joes to fight Cobra. See, that was always my thing with G.I. Joe. I didn't need those random generic green shirts. I love G.I. Joe the movie because there were none of those green shirts. It was just all name Joes that I could say, hey, look, there's Airtight in the background. There's Footloose. There's Airtight. There's Barbecue, as opposed to why do we have 5 main name Joes and then all these 40 Joe grunt dudes just sitting in the background? And I know people love the green shirts, but it wasn't like they were getting killed off to make Cobra more threatening. They were just more guys in the background. And by the time the cartoon hit, there were so many characters, they never needed those background Joes anyway. Mark J, how many trouble bubbles do I need for my collection? Need and can afford? Two different things. I pity my wallet though if there's a Hasbro Pulse sale and they're doing one of those massive, hey, here's 40% off, here's 30% off, because I will be jumping on so many more trouble bubbles. Let me know how many you guys want to get. I'm very curious. 80s kids from the 90s, Televiper looks cool. I think they did a really good job with them. And like I said before, I love the rolled up sleeves look, but because of the diverse nature of the Televipers. I think, just having black uh legging or black arms, like shirts, sleeves, made sense. In this way, it can be any version of the Televiper you want. So I really thought that was cool. Pure leaf unsweetened. That's the best. Nice amount of caffeine with no sugar. Yeah, I need to be hyped up and ready for it. I should do like all the other like network shows and just kind of keep hiding it as I'm drinking so as not to endorse them or whatever. But too late, unless of course Pure Leaf wants to sponsor the next episode. Jay Woods, Trouble Bubbles in desperate need of a flight stand. I hope they do that. I feel like we've seen them do flight stands for other things like that. The Fortnite Cobra Claw like vehicle that had a flight stand. I'm hoping they have something like that. I mean, they kind of do stuff. They kind of have that in mind. So maybe that's just something they didn't show us with it. Let's take a look because now you got me really curious if they showed that in the back of the packaging. And I didn't realize after all this time I was spelling Trouble Bubble wrong. I was spelling it the correct way. And they're like, no, it's totally different. So, according to this picture, there is no stand, which is kind of weird. I feel like that's something they should include. Or maybe if it's just going to sit on the stand like that, it'll be okay. I love it if it works with other stands and there's a port in the bottom that you could plug it into. So even if they don't have a stand, I'm hoping it's compatible with some stands that will hold them up. Laughing out loud, that Trouble Bubble picture fits the meme of when you can hear a picture. Oh man, it is so absolutely like I'm right there transported to hearing that theme song. I can't tell you how many times I just rewound that opening sequence because it was so G.I. Joe everything. It was like, oh, this is amazing. Look, there's Snake Eyes doing a somersault into the Trouble Bubble. Here's Alpine taking a grapple hook and swinging on to another before he knocks out a Cobra Trooper. I mean, it's so great. So much fun. Yo, Joe. Awesome. So cool. Cobra. Exactly. I mean, the whole joint, it was like, whoa, here's so many Cobras coming to the Statue of Liberty. And then the Joes are like, nah, dude, we're here. We already got it. Brick and Tire, what's going on? That device came with the original flight pod. Thank you. Didn't know what it was in the 80s either, but it was able to be pegged into the seat like a flying mine or something. That's cool. I like that. I like when they go classic with the accessories too. And actually, I know who to go to. We'll just go to our buddies at 3D Joe so we can pull it up. They're always awesome. Please check out their stuff because they are an amazing resource for all of this fun stuff that I pull up so often. Here we go. So let's see all these cool accessories because I'm sure they'll break it down for us. All right, so here's the cover of Flight Pod, and there is the flying mine. That's awesome. So that's pretty cool. Let's see where we see on the back here. It looks like an aerial mine with remote pilot. That's really fun. I love how the cool stuff they did with G.I. Joe. So this is the solid propellant SNK aerial mine. And I just love the fact that G.I. Joe does some wild stuff and you can just see all that kind of craziness in the weapons. And it's just so much fun. Adds so much to the play factor of all this stuff. I got to catch up to the comments because I got so many more. Sorry. All right, let's go back in here. There we go. Okay. Frustrated fan sports though. I was so pissed I missed out on the Arctic Bats. No, you didn't miss out on the Arctic Bats, did you? I feel like our good friends at Amazon still have them up. Careful what you're putting in because it'll give you ice pack. Oh, looks like you're right. That's terrible. Let's try new arrival. Ugh. But it looks like if I saw that properly, they're still available at the over on. Oh, they're sold out everywhere. Sorry, you were right. Hopefully, well, Amazon's gonna have them back in stock at some point. Hopefully, you'll be able to get them. I'll try to make a post when they're back up, so everybody who did not get them can grab them. Todd Jones, what's going on? I'm fine with vehicles being Pulse exclusive as long as they're easy to order, like this one is so far. I think that's really all I care about. Sure, I'd love to get those vehicles for half off and be like, yeah, I won. But I'm more interested in getting way more vehicles. So if supporting them through the Pulse is the way to get more vehicles, I'm for it. Especially when I don't feel like it's such a rip off where it's like that Spider-Man 3-pack where I don't feel like there's any value in it. This Trouble Bubble and Televiper feels like exactly the price point that works, even though I think the Joes should be 20, but at least Hasbro makes sure that those classified series figures feels like we're getting our money's worth. Woohoo! I was able to put in an order for 2 Trouble Bubbles just now. Bats are sold out though. Yeah, it sucks. I'm sorry to hear that for people who wanted more. Kelly Cox, have I heard the rumors that Hasbro and other companies are cutting production numbers? Yeah, but I feel like I know if you go on looking at different sites and all that stuff, it's whoa, what's going on? And maybe stuff is selling out at Target, but if you go to Pulse, if you go to Target's website, there's everything that might not be on the store shelves are still in their websites. And as long as they're available there, I'm okay. Maybe that just means you won't be able to wait it out and get a clearance sale. But as long as you can get them on the website, I think it's fine. And I'm not gonna be too worried because they know to get us involved in these lines, they're gonna have to just keep cranking out figures. And if we can't buy them, they're not gonna sell them. We're not gonna get any more. Well, Fredo Diaz, what's going on? I was happy to get through the pre-order process without any issues. Are you also traumatized and scarred from the days of MattyCollector.com where it was like, I have 30 more seconds before this thing sells out. I need you to come through. Because those were the worst. It was like, let me refresh because this isn't going to get through. And I'm not going to get this DC Classics or He-Man Masters of the Universe Classics figure that I want unless this goes through right now. Can't wait to get the Trouble Bubbles and Arctic Bubbles. Yes. Blake, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show. Mr. Cheeseburger, what's going on? I'm paying whatever for G.I. Joe and Marvel Legends. Those are my lines. I'm supporting them and I want them to thrive. I feel like there's so many waves and so many different lines that I'm like, okay, I'll wait for a sale. But G.I. Joe is my one line that it's like, hey, if I get something on sale, awesome. But unless there's an issue with CoverGirl, Falcon, then I'm just going to wait them out to get cheaper because I don't think the quality is good. I'm getting them. And when Rock and Roll's in stock and Shipwreck and Torpedo, I don't know if I'm going to wait till my birthday. I'm just going to grab them. An Archive Season 7 because, yeah, that would be cool. Rodney says, Kelly, it wouldn't be anything new. Hasbro overproduced Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace toys. Who is this Rick Ollie guy? I remember going into the store in Toys R Us back in the day and like, who are these characters? So, of course, I gravitated towards the Anakin. I was like, he's such a little kid. Obi-Wan, what's he doing with this rat tail? And who's Qui-Gon Jinn? So it was really wild. Like, I don't know any of these characters. And then, of course, really starting to care for him as I got into the prequels. But it was really funny. Is the bubble going to be on Big Bad Toy Store and Amazon? It's not. It's just going to be a Pulse exclusive. They're keeping that in-house. But I wonder if we've seen with some of these other Hasbro Pulse exclusives that they will eventually show up. And like, surprise, we got those Marvel Legend figures that were exclusive to the Pulse. We pull them up. Of course, now that I'm trying to find those things, it's super hard and super impossible. Let's just see the pre-orders because I think we'll see them easier that way. Yeah, it's all up. Yes, so here's exactly what I was talking about. You see here, we've got the Retro Collection Beast. We've got this Mojo World set, and you can get it even cheaper again for $109 this time. So this is exclusive to Pulse, and now you can get it available on Big Bad Toy Store. The Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends was $75, now $69. Probably a little bit more to get your double jointed elbows, Firestar, and an Iceman. It still isn't quite the way I want them, but at least you can get them now on Big Bad Toy Store as well. Frustrated Fan Sports Show. The price for the Trouble Bubble is great. It follows how great the price was for Serpentor and the Air Chariot. I think that's really all we want. We just want it to be reasonable where it's not like, are you serious right now? I think they've been really good with the pricing with the Joes in general. And then if you get it on sale, it's like, hooray. And the best thing about when they do stuff exclusive to Target is Target's not afraid to do toy sales. And then, hey, if you get it on the right week, they'll have a special on that line that you want too. So, but I don't mind with the vehicles. I think it's a fair price and not anything I'm upset about. Roberts, right there again. Post exclusives have been showing up on other places. The X-Men VHS or on Big Bad Toy Store. And for everybody who missed out on the animated Cyclops, he's surprisingly back in stock. They didn't sell through the entire thing. Rodney, I'm hoping for the Mobat. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. Like, of all the vehicles, the Mobat would be really fun. And we can only get Steeler that way with the Mobat. And if they made that remote control like the original one, I don't know how much would be too much for that I'd still be willing to pay for it. Felix, what's up? Bring on Marvel Legends Luke Cage. Yeah, we're definitely talking about him tonight for sure. Shane Shooter, what's going on? What up, LMF? Does anyone know if the Python Patrol Crimson Guard was ever on the G1 cartoon? Now, if you're considering the DIC version still the version of G.I. Joe 1, then yes. Pull up Python Patrol. Had a whole Operation Dragonfire, had all of these different variants show up. I'm pretty sure in the cartoon. Now that I want to see something for the DIC line, I cannot find them. Let me just do it this way. Operation Dragonfire, Python Patrol. I know they had the Televipers, so that's one that we're going to get really soon. So we shouldn't be surprised when that pops up. Man, it's always when you want to find something quickly. I thought so, but I'll have to check it out and let you know for sure later. Wolverine. I mean, I'm not going to be upset with that, but I keep saying I need that to be a Pulse exclusive because that and a Bridge Layer are so similar in terms of their build that they could just repurpose the Wolverine and add that bridge part on top and keep the cost down. And that way I can still buy a Wolverine and I can still buy a Bridge Layer, as Tollbooth would say, without any problems. That's the only reason I don't want that to be the HasLab. Gary Farmer, that is quick for the HasLab reveal. Now, my question, though, is are we going to see a G.I. Joe San Diego Comic-Con exclusive? Are we also going to see, more, and how soon after we get this HasLab from the Joe Squad, are we going to see the Marvel Legends one? Because we're at that point of the year where they're going to start overlapping. And I don't know about y'all, but there are only so many crowdfunding projects I can back within a year because it's so many now. We got great efforts like the Ramen Toys, Ghost Rider, Engine of Vengeance, that we won't call it that. We've got whatever we're getting from G.I. Joe. We're getting some from Marvel Legends, probably Giant Man. The Star Wars team, I think, is going to do a vintage collection, Ghost. So lots of options. And if you're trying to balance this out, of course, they're going to do a Transformers one because they've been incredibly successful. There's so many different HasLabs kind of fighting and vying for our attention, and it is really hard to keep up with all of them. One, I thought the figs for the Ando show looked boring now. I thought that was good too with Funko Sodas. They have done Thanos. Yeah, no Black Order yet. I would love to see Proxima Midnight Soda. Yeah. More HasLab speculation from Frustrated Fan Sports Show. It has to be the Snow Cat because all the snow teasing that has been going on, and they released all the snow figures. Yeah, and I kind of think that they had mentioned a tease about needing a lot of Joes to deal with this, and that kind of makes me think that maybe this is where we would not see a Dragonfly because there's just not enough for that. I mean, we would have, of course, Wild Bill. We would get an Airborne. Maybe that's where they could slip in Ripcord, but I kind of feel like he's more of a jump out of the airplane as opposed to jumping out of the helicopter, because that'd be a little counterintuitive to what he does. But there was a tease. I'm trying to track this down real fast. I think I found it. Now this is the Zartan and Storm Shadow tease, and I love how they've been breaking these down. I'm kind of going to be upset when we get the just regular standard tease for it. We won't have the full deal for it. Let's see. Okay, so here it is. Let's pull this up because I wanted to make sure you all could see it. And this is, of course, from His Tank, so we can see the full deal. Wow, that's super small. Let me make that bigger. All right. A recent meeting in HasLab offices was a rousing success. Unfortunately, their collaboration with Mars Industries to develop a fleet of armored high-speed sentries is too far along to halt completely this stage. I'll need your full authorization to move forward with these plans. The Joe team will need some new recruits as well. Now, that doesn't mean we can't just get two, but I kind of feel like the Snowcat could work since it would hold more Frostbite, maybe Iceberg, Blizzard, other Snow Joes, and maybe just random, hey, here's Scarlet with her winter gear look. I don't know. Lots of options for it. Roberts, I have such little faith in Hasbro. I'm needing on a $300 off striker for the HasLab. No, they've been actually doing right by us for the most part with the pricing of the classified series. Now I know with Marvel Legends, they are just like, whatever, let's charge $31 for Toad. But I think they've been okay with their classified series prices. Chuckles in his armory is the SDCC exclusive. I'm curious, what would that armory be? Is it going to be the missile that he chucks at the His Tank? What are you doing? JQ really wanted Dragonfly, but Snowcat is high on my list. Right now, I don't. It's whatever one they go with, I'm going to be happy with. Eric Maldonado, love your show. Thank you so much. I'm a truck driver in California. I've been collecting for a few decades now. Love classified. Hope they can get their quality control where it should be. I feel like with this line, you do the shock oil, you can get those joints so they're not so stiff and crazy. I don't mind stiff joints as opposed to the floppy marionette ones, so I'm okay with that. I feel like their quality control was really ratchet with Falcon and CoverGirl, that wave, and even Outback's eyes. But as we've seen with Shipwreck and Torpedo and Copperhead, it seems like the QC's back to what it was previously. So that's really encouraging, and really looking forward to seeing that be the case for all these other shows. How many Trouble Bubbles you order, Jeffrey? I got two. If I check out a little bit later, thankfully it's supposed to come out in October, but knowing the way they do these pre-orders, October could be next week. So hopefully it'll be a while so I can stock up and save my pennies so I can get some more. After I get my G1 inspired figures from Return of the Jedi, I assume I want a proper 40th anniversary Generation 1 Prime. Yeah. Frustrated fan sports show. I still think they should have added the Asp as the tier for the Hiss. I agree with you. I think that would have been a really good one because it felt like during the promotion, maybe when they revealed it, it seemed like Lenny was hinting that it could tow something. Now we've kind of seen now that they'll tease something as they did with the Trouble Bubble, that they'll mention something that they already have planned and mapped out to work with something else, not necessarily during that campaign. And I feel like the Dragonfly would not be something that could tow something. So maybe that's more indication that the Mobat, maybe it could have the flak laser. That would be something that could come with as a tier, or just a separate standalone mini vehicle. So that's another option. So we'll see. Todd Jones, I got 4 of each secondary army builder, 16 of staples like basic infantry, and the bubble price was decent, so I ordered 4. I think the price is pretty good too, and I think because they didn't go crazy and try to go, hey, let's just gas them for everything, more people bought multiples of them. And I think that's always the best strategy, because you get guys like us who will go, hey, the price isn't bad, I'll buy more than one. And if it's just one that's super expensive, people are going to be like, I guess I'm just going to have one Trouble Bubble. But if you make it affordable and it's like, okay, I can get 4 for 200, I'll be really happy with that. Or right around 200. Firefly, Dragonfly seems to be the front runner for the HasLab. I think so. 0000, what is up? Chilling. Hanging out with the fam here on Lyle's Figure Files. All things toys. I also want to see the G.I. Joe classified team upgrade the Cobra Fang to a full-fledged helicopter to counter the Dragonfly, something based off the Real American Hero 66 Comanche Blue Thunder helicopters. You said, now I said Real American Hero, but I'm thinking you probably were not referring to Real American Hero on that. The female steel core figure is the movie Scarlet figure buck. Oh, okay. Thank you. That explains articulation. Because I guess they weren't at that double jointed articulation phase for that at that point, right? On Action Force, Carrick and Bone Collector reissues just hit. Those in Pandora are the main bad guy characters thus far. Or this far. Highly recommended. Thank you. All right, so I got my 3, and there's another one earlier. I think it was Condor. I have to check them out too. Mr. Cheeseburger, I doubt the price of the HasLab will go down in price given that his tank sold 3 times the MOQ for $300. I think $300 to $350 is fair for 4 figures and whatever they decide to release. I'm curious. I think they'll do some awesome stuff with it, so we'll see. And again, I didn't feel like the price tag was too bad for the his tank, especially when you factor in, especially when there was no question all those tiers got included. So 4 figures is $100. So then that basically took the his tank to $200. Ski Raider, seems like they use Scarlet's arms for their Brigade Trooper female arms. Hopefully they'll stop that. Stop that. To me, green shirts don't exist. I'm with you, Todd. I mean, those are the chaplain's assistants going, hey, what are these ruffians doing here? I don't need them in the battlefield with the Joes. James Green, do you think they'll give us an updated Cobra Commander figure? Which updated version? Are you talking about from the Wave 2 version? It's Wave 2, Wave 3 version, Wave 3 Cobra Commander, or Battle Armor Cobra Commander, or the deep navy blue Cobra Commander? Lots of options for him. Blake, I only saw green shirts during the all-out battles. Yeah, I think what I didn't like about the green shirts was the fact that they were taken away from what made the Joes, the individual Joes, so special, because they were supposed to be the absolute best of the best SEALs, the best warrant officer, best ranger, commandos, Marines. And if you have all these generic dudes who are doing the exact same thing as the Joes, shooting off lasers and hitting everything that Cobra's shooting or bringing out there, it took away what made those Joes so special. So I think that was why I didn't like them. That was something they added in IDW series, but at least in that comic series, the green shirts would get killed. So kind of made it up for it. Trouble Bubble. I hear Toe Fighter sounds because of the cartoon. Yeah, I mean, you see them, it's like, Cobra. I need to get 5 Trouble Bubbles to hang a different lens for my ceiling. Now, that would be fun. I love seeing when collectors have those aerial vehicles hanging suspended from the ceiling. I think that is so fun. And these would be really cool to have coming down from different lengths. I'm kind of thinking now if I can find a really cheap, sort of in scale version of the Statue of Liberty, I can put in the center of my room and just have the Joes and Cobras crawling all over it. 80s Kid from the 90s. Should I buy the Multiverse Gold Label movie Flash figure or pass on it? I'm really excited. I'm going to see the Flash Tuesday. And if it's good, I'll be like, yo, you should totally get it. I'm hearing a lot of good stuff from people who are in the comic book movies. So kind of interested to see what they do. Kid 1998. For new G.I. Joe Classified line, I'd love to see more Dreadnoughts like Buzzer and Torch. Buzzer being my favorite Dreadnought in version 2 Storm Shadow, where he's a member of G.I. Joe. The Arctic Storm Shadow is kind of like that version of him, and I think they did that pretty well. He has some articulation old school that I think would be fixed if they did a new version. Maybe he would be a retro release at this point, but I think he's a good stand-in if they don't get around to him anytime soon. Buzzer has been announced as a pipeline Cobra coming, so he is hopefully going to be a Cobra we see along with Ripper. They didn't mention Torch, but I kind of feel like we're going to get a 3-pack like we got those Vipers with him. And speaking of the Vipers, for all of you who have missed out and who haven't decided to hop onto that just yet, that Viper set is cheaper right now on Amazon. It is $64.37, which is so much of a better deal than its original price. I think back when it started, it was $89.99. So now that's $64. So you get those guys for a really good price. And let me do my so quick math. And let's see. The 3. Oops. That takes us down to just a little bit over $21. So for army builders with effects and all kinds of good stuff like that, I think that's a really good price for that. So if you did not, check out that price point for those. And Dark Six Soldier needed a flight stand. I'm wondering how compatible those will be, the trouble bubbles will be with other flight stands. Maybe it's something where you can get one of those hook deals that can connect really wide, or maybe you could just use those McFarlane toy stands to balance and hold them up. But I think they hopefully will have something that will work. Rick Davis, hello. How are you? Welcome to the show. Andre Montalongo. Yo, Joe. What's going on? They already showed an updated Cobra Commander and said only the Mickey version is exclusive to HasLab. You're right, Todd. I wonder how soon they'll bring out another Cobra Commander, especially when we haven't gotten the Hiss Mickey Mouse version just yet. I'm wondering if they'll do it soon for everybody who missed out on the Hiss tank. Be like, hey, here you go. Or if they're going to wait a little bit longer. Yo, Joe. Sorry, y'all get me hyped up and excited anytime we talk Joe. Mickey Rowe. Hey, Jeffrey, you're going to make yourself into a G.I. Joe character with Hasbro Selfie Series? I don't know. Do you think they'd be able to get all this gray and white in my hair properly? I feel like I've seen so many of them, and they wouldn't get the glasses done right. Maybe if they release a Doc figure, I'll get another one, and I'll paint the hair a little bit and put the stuff on there, and then I'll do it. Arctic Bat is still up on Big Bad Toy Store. So for everyone who missed out, he is available to purchase still, apparently. That's good news. So there. Right now, run. Don't delay. You can get them right now from Big Bad Toy Store. I thought Entertainment Earth still had them too. Let me check. I already checked and he was sold out. Nope, he's still available on Entertainment Earth too. So there are options. You don't have to rely on Amazon. You don't have to rely on Hasbro Bubbles. You can still get the Arctic back for everybody who missed out. Blake, thank you so much for the $30, man. I really appreciate it. And I will be put into good use. Bat sold out at Pulse, not Big Bad Toy Stores. You guys are just right there with me. Thank you. Kidra 1998 for new HasLab project. I do think a Giant Man will work, and maybe Fing Fang Foom could be next. But the big question is, what would the tiers be? So for Giant Man, they've knocked out my man Hank Pym in his red jumpsuit. We could still use a yellow jacket. I'm thinking, so as not to make the whole collector community upset, Jarvis would make for a really good inclusion. Ultron on one of his earlier versions, maybe the one with the base, or you can make Ultron as Crimson Cowl. You could do, maybe you can make the Crimson Cowl as a tier figure where you can have the hood swap out and you can put the Jarvis head sculpt, the Angry Jarvis head sculpt. You can put the Ultron head sculpt on there too. Or maybe you could just make it so big that it could be the female version of Crimson Cowl too. Lots of thoughts, lots of efforts on there. Mr. Cheeseburger, anything with Spider-Man is worth it. I am glad you like it. So let me know what you think when you get a 3-pack. All Things Toys, you can still order the Arctic Bat on Entertainment Earth. Yes, you are able to. And let me see here. Do a favor for you all. I'll throw in the links. You all can get it straight from my affiliate partners at Entertainment Earth. So let's see here. Let's do this. Now let's go back into the chat. Here's the link for the Arctic Bat. So for anybody who still needs the Arctic Bat who wants to help support the channel, you can do so that way too. All right. Have they done a DC Multiverse of Batman from Batman Year One? The Dark Knight Returns, so it would make sense. Yeah, I'm with you. Not yet. They're still, I don't know what they're doing with that. But we'll talk about McFarlane in just a second. Frustrated Fan Sports Show, Hasbro isn't cutting production. I mean, look how they kept re-releasing Dr. Mindbender and Serpentor. I'm really confused that they haven't done more because it seems like maybe they'll do it in June because they were doing back in PulseCon and then they did the fall. Here's another round. I think they've re-released them 4 times. So I know that they know the classified series collector wants those figures and they're going to make sure that they keep producing them until everybody's like, all right, we're good. We got all we needed. Noom 842. What's good? Just a heads up, Big Bad Toy Store still has Arctic Bats. I love how you guys are helping each other out. That's awesome. Let's keep that energy rolling because I don't want people to miss out on figures when they're still available. Question: how are the Flash movie multiverse figures? Are let me know what else you were thinking on that. They look cool. I'm really interested in the Flashpoint Flash, so that's my Flash figure I'm looking forward to the most. Andre, I know I'm way off topic, but I wish Hasbro would make that Spider-Man 3-pack a HasLab project instead. How would they do it at HasLab? Let me know what you think in there. How are the Flash movie multiverse figures like? I think we got the two versions of Flash. We got Batman Unmasked, and I think there's another armored Batman and Supergirl, and a Dark Flash figure who I don't know the connection in the movie, so I'll figure it out later. Collect to disconnect. What's going on? Todd Jones, Hasbro's weird. They released some exclusives over and over in large numbers, and then they only made 15,000 of the Skrull Army Builder. Let's hope. Let us hope that when Secret Invasion finally drops, they've discovered a whole new well of Skrulls, because those were figures that they maxed out. They said you can only get 5. And I'm like, dude, I want so many more. I still don't understand why they would put a cap on army builders when it should just be a license to print money for them. Just keep the train rolling. I don't know. Matt O'Brien, what's up? Happy Thursday. Yes, one more day and we're done with this week. Mr. Cheeseburger, I'm waiting for Tunnel Rat, Zombie Viper. Dude, I cannot wait for the Zombie Viper. I love those in the 3.75 Pursuit of Cobra line. They were amazing figures. And you could do all kinds of stuff to customize them and make them different looking figures. I love those. Can't wait to see them. Shadow Tracker is going to be awesome. Firefly, the retro version, Big Ben. I think we've seen Big Ben already. I'm wondering if we're going to see the regular color version as well. General Hawk, yes. Low Light and Range Viper, the best lineup coming in Classified. It's so wild because if you think about it, there's so many more best lineups that they can keep cranking out. And I love what they've got on the horizon. We're seeing Tripwire as well, Grunt, and of course the 2 Dreadnoks. I feel like there's some other ones that you forgot to mention, and then I am totally blanking on. So if you guys remember it in the chat, let us know. Mark J, do I think sales of the original female Captain Marvel are being held back by Secret Wars Doom? Secret Wars Doom, which one are you talking? Oh. Do I think the sales of the original female Captain Marvel are being held back by Secret Wars Doom? No, I think what it is people are, there's so much stuff like that is supposed to drop on October 1st. Like, no, I think it's August 1st. Like all of these figures that are coming August 2nd, maybe. And it is a rack of stuff. And I think they're really just competing with each other. There's so much stuff dropping at that point in time where I think a lot of collectors, why are they not cooperating with me? So, yeah, there's a lot. There's that Hawkeye, the Sky Cycle is slated for August 1st, Thor and Destroyer, Black Knight and Cersei, the Super Skrull and the Skrull Queen. A lot of stuff is dropping all at once. I think that's what's kind of affecting it. So I don't think we're going to see any of those sell out just because the price and when they're all dropping at once on us. What's been your favorite Marvel Legends you've actually bought and received this year? It's funny because I was going through, I literally have one Marvel Legend figure that I've bought this year, and my backlog is crazy of figures because, I was out for basically 2 months after the transplant. So it was like, I can't even get downstairs to shoot figures. But it's really cool. There's so many. Wonder Man has to be because he's the one figure that I've opened so far. But I really love how he turned out, even though he does have a few issues. But I'm really glad to have him. I just pre-ordered Arctic Bat on Big Bad Toy Store while watching. Awesome. Glad you guys are able to get them. 80s Kids from the 90s, Clone Wars is my jam. But every time I watch Rebels, it's so much like the original trilogy. I can't make up my mind. You don't have to. They're both awesome and they're really fun shows. And you absolutely should just revel in the joy of watching Rebels and Clone Wars. Wilfredo, yes, my first and thus far only purchase of Valiverse Action Force was the Steel Brigade, the male and female. They would go well with the classified version called the Steel Crop. Nice. I like that. Mr. Cheeseburger, thank you. There were no Crimson Guards in DIC animation. I was looking, I was like, wait a second, maybe they did not make them. So it was just the regular Cobra Troopers, because I know the bats weren't involved. I know the Televipers we had, but what else was actually in the DIC version of them? Because I know Copperhead was there. Maybe it's just regular Vipers. Collect to disconnect. I'm currently halfway done with Rebels. I'm pacing myself to finish right in August for the Ahsoka release. Oh, you can just watch it quick. It's okay. I won't tell anybody. You can rewatch it. It's so good. For a second, when you said Secret Wars Doom, I thought you meant God Doom. That figure had really brittle plastic. That's the one in all white from the remake Secret Wars. I thought Clone Wars was the best, but Rebels is super good too. Yeah, it's funny because I went from Clone Wars to Rebels, and the tone was so like, this is not as bleak and dire as Clone Wars, especially near the end. And it took me a second to get into it because I was like, this is so much cheery and more hopeful and optimistic than that whole everything's going down because we're in the middle of a war. But I really love Clone Wars or Rebels as it continued to play out. And by the end, I was like, oh man. That's why I'm still mad that Hasbro, for whatever reason, hasn't given us the season 3 and 4 look of the entire crew, because that's easy variance for all of us to get more figures. I mean, you just do every version of everybody except for Chopper and Zeb, and I would happily buy them all over again. Roberts, I'm almost certain that Python Patrol Crimson Guard appeared in the DIC cartoon. I'm having to spell it out because saying it out loud just kind of sounds wrong. $300 for a Dragonfly. I think that's what is coming. Kelly, they're going to need to put a lot in there to make that worthwhile. Mr. Cheeseburger, Chuckles is rumored to be San Diego Comic-Con. See, that's the thing. I feel like they need to kind of work things out. Maybe it's how they set up the payment for these HasLabs, because they're going to keep operating like business as normal, where, hey, the only line you're collecting is classified series. So you can drop money on all these pre-orders we've got coming now. We've got the Trouble Bubble, and then next week we're going to drop the HasLab, and then, oh yeah, we got the Comic-Con exclusive figure. They need to pace this down, or at least allow us to pay for these crowdfunding projects in installments. I know for whatever logic they say they can't do that, but I really need them to. Collect to disconnect. I'll take a vintage collection ghost. Yeah, man. That I think that's one of those few things I may dip into vintage collection for. Todd Jones, I hope Chuckles isn't really San Diego Comic-Con. Love him, and getting Mindbender was a nightmare. I finally had a chance to buy him on Pulse right after I gave up and got him on eBay. And that's how it always works. I'm going to the route of eBay, and then, oh, of course, I find him in stores the next day. Matt O'Brien, I'll be disappointed with the Snowcat. Seems like that can be retail or Pulse exclusive. Really want to see something larger. How much larger than the Snowcat would you want? Because I feel like that's basically the same size as the His Tank. I'm not buying Giant Man. I need something more meaningful. We never had the Engine of Vengeance in the Marvel line, but everybody is okay with getting another Giant Man. It's so weird. I think what it was there's a real fan base for a character that's had the longevity in the Marvel universe, like Giant Man. And if you have your classic original Avengers and you missed out on that amazing Toy Biz original Giant Man Build-A-Figure, there's a hole in your collection where you want a Giant Man figure. So that's where that clamoring's for. And I think there's a new generation of fans, or older fans, who still read modern comics. Although what they did with Punisher this week is just, I think that's what the thing is. There's not as many modern fans as there are the old school fans who can drop 300 on these HasLab projects. So I think that's what happened. And I don't think those EOV tiers really helped either. Collect to disconnect. I think it's because the EOV has a giant footprint, and most of us are limited on shelf space. A lot of us don't have the Toy Biz Giant Man. I actually don't love it. What I love is when somebody posts something and then I say something and then I read somebody else on the chat says the exact same thing that I'm saying. I love that. They said this HasLab will fight Cobra on all fronts. It's going to be Vamp with Clutch, or the Slugger with Thunder. I would be, well, see, the thing with the Vamp is I think they have so much potential to put the Vamp and re-release it as the Vamp Mark II and the Stinger. And I think if they put it as a HasLab, people aren't going to buy into a HasLab where it's like, oh man, what's going to be the HasLab? Oh, it's the Vamp Mark II. They're gonna be like, where's the Havoc? Where's anything else? Where's the Persuader? Where's etc. And same deal if they do the Stinger, it's gonna be like, dude, that's 3 years of the same HasLab, and the price has not gone down. So I'm hoping that's not what the deal is there. The Star Wars Black series should do a wave for the Clone Wars show from 2009, but in the show's art style, not like as if they are in live action. I thought they'd done that at one point, and whether it was 6-inch or the vintage collection, I don't know if there was a whole lot of response for it. Uni Warrior Thomas, random thing. I have an original 90s animated series Hulkbuster figure. That's cool. I love that Build-A-Figure Hulkbuster that they released. I feel like that's what we're missing from Marvel Legends. We need more of those great Build-A-Figures. Mr. Cheeseburger only got one bubble of fun, but I had to get 2 bats. Yeah, man. I feel like 4 or 5 Arctic bats are good for me. I think that's where I'll stop because I love snow elements and snow themed characters. So I'm going to go a little bit harder on them than I do a lot of other things. Imagine June suddenly becoming October the day after June 1st. Yeah, that would be how it would play out. The Asp is the $44.99 rumored vehicle coming in Python Patrol colors at Target. Oh man, I don't need a Python Patrol vehicle. I just want a regular Asp, but I think that is exactly what would happen. I meant to say Transformers Rise of the Beast, but I had to abbreviate. I actually looking forward to that. And I was not looking forward to those Transformer movies. I don't know what the heck Michael Bay was doing, but Bumblebee was pretty good. I like the original designs they put in there, and I could make out who was who because they actually used color. So that was great. Blake, thank you again, my man. Thanks for a great show and channel. Just in case you have to have one more bat. I do, so thank you, good sir. I do appreciate it. The channel got one trouble, bubble wubble. I love how we're coming up with these different names for it. It's fun. Don't know if I can do any other vehicle. Not enough space here in Japan. I feel like that's gonna be the one thing that's gonna hit us is where do we put all these cool vehicles? I think with my classified series line, that's just gonna take over anything it needs to. So I don't really care what else is in a space in my display. It's just gonna have to get moved aside for more classified series stuff. Are you talking about Scuba Steve Cobra Commander? Please show me a picture of that so I know what you're talking about. Oh, Collected Disconnect. Watching Across the Spider-Verse later today. Can't wait. I can't wait either. I don't know when I can sneak into the movie theaters when there are not as many people going to see it because I still have to keep my mask on, but I'm still looking forward to it. Everybody's saying it's great and amazing, spectacular, and all other kinds of Spider-Man adjectives you want to throw out there. Frustrated Fan Sports Show, thank you so much. As always, showing you love for the great content. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. And you guys are going to give me another trouble bubble at this rate. So thank you. I want 2 more packs of Vipers. There you go. I think for that price is really good. And I would have bid on it if they didn't do the gold leader variant. I just needed a basic Viper. 3 Vipers, I'd have been all over that 3-pack. Every selfie series looks like a player in Nintendo 64 GoldenEye. Yeah, I feel like those likenesses just aren't quite right just yet. Hey, Uniwarrior Thomas, thank you for hanging with us. Hope you have a great night too. I wonder if we'll be getting 2-pack Classic Cap and Falcon. That would be a really good 2-pack. I mean, they could always throw in another Captain America, and Falcon in any of his early versions would be really cool. Devin, you guys convinced me. I just ordered my trouble bubble. Nice. Ryan Daly, I have a feeling one of the Giant Man cheers will be an alternate scroll head. Now, I think that would make sense for a scroll, but I wonder if they would then also do something where they could swap out the hands so we could have like scroll hands, even though he was wearing a costume. But that's a smart tier form. Ryan, you know me, I'd be happy with 4 different versions of Wasp. I'm hoping that what they do is they do a regular old school classic Wasp in the Beyond Earth's Mightiest program, and then we get a Secret Wars version of Wasp in this HasLab Giant Man tier because that would be really fun too. I was at a Target and saw the Yondo, Ant-Man, and the Tracksuit Mafia fig. I like Ant-Man, but I don't like it. Figure they did for Target because no unmasked head and no swappable arms. What swappable arms would you put in there for Ant-Man? Are you talking about like for the lab coat look? Because I feel like you could probably jury rig that figure and making that work and using the what's his face, the Reed Richards version. Yeah, Wonder Man. The Simon Williams version. Let me throw it up so you can see what I'm talking about here. Easy, really easy, because there's only one Wonder Man. My guy Simon here, fun figure. He's actually restocking soon, so I guess people actually wanted that figure. Green Man, Spiral's the only Marvel Legend I got this year. I think it was this year. Yeah, because a lot of people were starting to get her at the end of last year. So there's that weird overlap with that retro classics X-Men line and people who got them last year and this year. Ryan, the deluxe Blob is probably the best Marvel Legends figure I got this year. But classic Yondu is surprisingly awesome. He looks awesome. I've seen pictures and I'm like, he looks great. I'm waiting on his Target sale so I can get both him and Ant-Man because they look great. Robert's Infinite Realm Spiral is beyond fantastic. She looks amazing. I feel like that's the quality we want to see in every Marvel Legends figure. And I think if they were charging $27, I think we'd all be like, okay, but at least it's a great figure. Mr. Cheeseburger, thank you so much, my friend. Great to have a toy conversation without the drama. We are so not soap opera here. We're like zero negative drama. I want to have a fun place for everybody to just talk, hang out, talk about toys, as long as we all stay awake. And, you know, let's talk respectfully and do the thing. We're talking about toys. We should have a good time. I was okay with the first HasLab being the hiss because of how iconic it is, but I'd like to see bigger Dragonfly, Tomahawk, Mobat, Mauler, Moray, playsets like Toxolab. You know, my dream ultimate HasLab, of course, is the whale, the killer whale. Blake Tarpley. Anybody else want to see the boring beige and green camo Rakondo? Yes. I was one of the first, it was one of the first figures I bought in the 80s with my own money, so I wanted a 6-inch version. They've done exceedingly well with every time they have an alternate version of something worse, whether it's Tiger Force, whether it's Night Force, of getting us that classic version. So I would be shocked if we don't see Rakondo in his original colors in June. And I love his colors. I don't know whatever the reason was. I just thought he was really cool with the big mustache. He kind of had that villain look because, you know, back in the day in the 80s, the big mustache was a sign of a villain. And he just kind of stood out to me as being really cool because he had it and was a joke. What's up, Lefty Two Lions BK? Jeff, quick, go see Across the Spider-Verse. Freaking awesome. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Everybody who's talked about it said it's amazing. So I am very much looking forward to it. Mr. Cheeseburger, you down for the Slugger too? I think that'd be a really fun vehicle to see too. Pretty much all of the unprotected driver situations in G.I. Joe came from Fudge and Scale. Like the real life versions of the vehicles you mentioned can protect the driver. Yeah, and they would, but I just kind of like the randomness of having CoverGirl hanging out like, hey, what's up? Steeler being on top of the Mobat, like, yo, we're going to get them. And I'm going to use my cool viewfinder to find more of them. Roberts, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And I will enjoy it as well, my friend. Oh, Blake, Wonder Man was also your favorite Marvel Legend this year. I'm guessing it was yours too. Yeah, I mean, by default, but I feel like even as I go through the rest of the year, he's going to be really high and within my top 10. Spiral is figure of the year. I feel like she's going to be right up there in the top 3. Jason Lyles, what's up, co-host of Lyles Movie Files? I would like an updated Terradrome. The Terradome. Can we cue up a little Tina Turner too in our heads? But oh man, could you imagine getting that? That would be the most insane HasLab of all time. Quick story. My brother Jason and I, when we were finding Santa's presents, no spoilers out there, our parents put the Terradome under a blanket under the steps in the basement. And of course, when December hits, we're like looking around, like trying to find presents. And I'm like, oh, look what this is. So that was a really fun Christmas knowing we had the Terradome coming home. Blake, I got an email earlier today from Big Bad Toy Stores from DC Multiverse Nightfall Batman, but the site doesn't seem to have it. That sold out remarkably quick. And maybe I shouldn't say remarkably quick, but yeah, it was wild. That's definitely a figure I need to get soon. But since Target has it, we know it's going to be a Target and it won't be a massive issue trying to track it down. They'll have it on the website and all that good stuff. The version we got makes more sense for the character, but I want all of your boring Ricardo dreams to come true. I know. I mean, he looks more like a jungle character with the Tiger Force repaint, but I don't know his color scheme. And I think because with the Series 3 line of Joes, they started doing some really colorful looks and, putting all those guys next to each other. Duke, Roadblock, Spirit, Rakondo, Mutton Junkyard. They really look nice. Blowtorch, who is another figure coming, and Ripcord. I think they really all had cool, unique looks. JQ, man, if they had been misdirecting us in the HasLab as a whale, I might faint from excitement, but how big would that thing be? I don't care. I will make the space, and it's just going to have a bunch of Joes hanging on top of it. He's not trolling. He's here for us. That would be an epic HasLab. It absolutely would. Drone the size of a small garage. I posted a scale photos of Black Series vehicles and the turbo tank scales to the size of a mini SUV. Yeah, I feel like I would want it. That would have to be the addition outside. It's like, what's the addition? Do you have a pool in there? No, it's my G.I. Joe HasLab Terradome. GameStop has the Nightfall Batman. Check it out, thanks to our good friend Mr. Cheeseburger. What about a Cobra Rattler? Do you think they'd ever do that one? I hope so. I mean, I feel like if I had to choose my top 10 vehicles that I want to see for this line, a Rattler, a Sky Striker, maybe a Conquest, but for sure a Night Raven are vehicles that need to be in the line where it's like, okay, I know we can't get everything, but I need to get this. Havoc is another vehicle like that. I wouldn't even mind the APC carrier because that was my major transport for all the Joes. It could fit so many in there, and I could just do a cloth top. But I would love that, and that's just literally from old school play patterns back in the day. Is Torpedo a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive? Are you asking? He's available all over. If that was your question. The Elena figure from the Puff Outer Wave is a good figure. She comes with multiple accessories, smoke effects, and blast effects, and 3 guns. But I don't like that she doesn't have double jointed elbows. That's wild that she doesn't. Sometimes dreams just need to be boring. Aim low sometimes, yes. A fun Marvel Legends that caught me by surprise, the Orb. What a shelf present. I think he's really cool as a figure. I'm just kind of like, why is he still using the Bucky cap mold? We need to be beyond that, people. All right, so let's see. We've gone through all these cool G.I. Joes. Let's move it on now to the other news for the week. And that is that Todd McFarlane and his crew at McFarlane Toys are getting another couple years with the DC license. So they're continuing to partner up through 2025. And I don't think it's an accident that they show the Nightfall Batman as an indicator of what they can do with this line. McFarlane says our previous contract for the DC Multiverse was a huge opportunity for McFarlane Toys to be involved with some of the best brands on the planet. Being able to play creatively with characters like Superman, Batman, and Flash and Wonder Woman, along with many other brands in the WB library, proved to be a huge success for us and Warner Brothers Discovery Global Consumer Products. An extension of the contract extends the depth and range of what we can bring to the marketplace to excite fans around the world. Now that sounds good. That sounds really encouraging. Maybe that means we'll get more figures like Nightfall Batman. And as further reason to be excited, those things sold out, or at least the Nightfall Batman sold out really quick. And it's so easy to see why. This is the classic Batman that I think so many of us old heads wanted to see in this line. That figure looks so good. I just think if Todd focuses on those looks for figures, he's going to see we're really excited and they're going to keep selling. Then we also have Batwing, and it's wild how much he looks like Cyborg with this lighting. Can't really see the Bat logo, but a really good figure. And again, I think Batwing was a great character. Got ran out too fast in DC, and he's a good one. I can't wait to get him in figure form. Then we get this Two-Face as Batman. The detail in this figure is amazing. I don't need it, but I really think they did a great job with it. Kelly Cox, a very smart move for Warner Brothers. And I think that's good because I don't want to have to try to start my DC collection all over again with another company unless they're just saying, Mafex, you get the license now and you've got to make 10 figures every other month. You can't do any of this deal where you're just giving us one comic book figure every 5 months. So, Mr. Cheeseburger, I'm sorry I'm not happy with this. I want 6-inch fully articulated DC characters that come with guns. Well, I mean, Mayfax is pulling out some great figures, and I will 100% say that's the way to go if you want great 6-inch articulated DC figures. I know the cost is way up there, but whew, when you get them, they're amazing. So if Mac lost McFar or Mortal Kombat, who has it now? That's where I'm curious. I don't know. I mean, maybe Jaded Toys, and they can pair them up with their Street Fighter line. That'd be kind of fun. Okay, now that's a good Batman from the classic light blue and gray suit, but when will that come out? Let's see. I think they didn't have like a firm release date for it, but no, McFarlane, it might not be that long because once they show off something, it's kind of pretty quickly available to us. I knew that wasn't going to be easy. Let's see. Since he sold out on Amazon, we're not finding him really fast. But let's go listen to Mr. Cheeseburger and see what our fine friends at GameStop have him for and if they have a release date. Yeah, so like I said, McFarlane doesn't really mess around with long-term, oh, here's a tease. He's basically like, as soon as I'm showing you this figure, it's going to be coming out real soon. So it's slated, at least according to GameStop, for June 15th release. And based off what they do, that's probably going to be what's going to happen. 80s kids from the 90s. It's not classic. It doesn't have the black cell shading on the cowl. You and I are right there. I'm going to take some black paint very carefully and give it the official look. Announcing a contract extension with the 3 Batman products only Todd could pull off. Yes. What if Hasbro got the license one day? Well, it needs to be sooner before the figures are $30. Oh, okay. Mr. Cheeseburger says July. You know, it's funny because sometimes they get them faster. So I wonder if GameStop is right or they're just being overly optimistic. We have definitely seen a case where GameStop gets them faster. David Allen, Lyle, where can I share photos with you and talk to you in private? Hit me up on Lyle's moviefiles at gmail.com. June on GameStop. Yeah. So I think that's where they're going with that. I can't wait for my Batman. Now, Steel, please. Yeah, Kelly. I mean, Steel looks amazing. I'm really curious to see how Tim Drake looks. Hopefully he's shorter and not right up to Batman's head. Mr. Cheeseburger is definitely pulling for Hasbro to get the DC license. I'm glad you're feeling better and I enjoy listening and watching your content. Your lists are cool. Thank you so much, David. I really appreciate that. Green Man, I wonder why they don't add the black on the cowl. DCUC did all those years back and it looked great. I mean, it was amazing. And that's what my one thing from the 20th anniversary Captain America is like, where's the black on the cowl? I know that doesn't exist in the real world, but we're talking about comic book looks. So that's how it's colored in the comic book. That's kind of how I want my action figures. So yeah, I'm totally there and right there with you guys. So I'm definitely going to be doing a little paint work on there. And speaking of Batman, let's take a look at this new drop from Hot Toys today. It is the new armored version of Batman from The Flash. And this figure looks really interesting because no news. I have no insight on this because I haven't seen the movie yet. It doesn't really look like Ben Affleck. But it's a really great looking details here. I mean, he's wearing this wire mesh armor, kind of camouflage, and he's making sure that he survives any hits or whatever. But this is an interesting look for him. And a very nice looking head sculpt, all that detail, the texture work there. You can see it. It really looks good, even though I don't think it's Ben Affleck in there. But yeah, it's a really cool looking figure. And then we got him on the bike. And this is also something you can get from Sideshow Collectibles through Hot Toys. This Joker looks really good. And I can't wait to see what the story is with that version of Batman in The Flash. So let's see. Once I buy Superman, I'm hoping we get classic early 2000 villains for Superman to fight. I'm with you, 80s kid from the 90s. We have General Zod. We have Lex Luthor. I don't know why we don't have a Brainiac in this wave yet. I feel like McFarlane would go nuts making robotic Brainiac. It's crazy. Mr. Cheeseburger, if I had Hot Toys money, this would be mine. It's a really great looking figure, isn't it? Blake, are you getting the latest Captain America select? It is the Art Adams looking 1970s black on the cow look. Yeah, it feels like they have done really great work most of the time, and they've really impressed me with what they've done with the Fantastic Four. Like that Mr. Fantastic looks so great, but I'm not quite sure what happened with this version of Cap. We've got random scattered chainmail, but again, the cow with the black looks great. And I think when I think of Captain America, when I think of Batman and these unique attires, this is the look I'm talking about with that black over there, the shells, the cell shading. I'm not quite sure this blue matches up with blue with this blue. Now look at it. The star looks a little weird. So to answer your question, Blake, no, I'm not getting it, but I feel like Marvel Select has done better work, and I just wish that Captain America reflected that. What would you like to see in the Marvel Legends Captain America way of celebrating the character? Okay, let's see. Top of my head, I want a better version of Sharon Carter, one that can stand without knocking over everything. So that would be one. A better old school version Bucky, like teen version of Bucky, a Human Torch and Toro, so we can have more Invaders action. Let's see. I feel like they've done really well in getting a lot of Cap's villains out there. Flag Smasher would be one. And then I'd pad it out with some more Serpent Society members, especially if we're going to see them in Captain America New World Order. Robert, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Todd Jones, I think the last time we had a Cap focused wave was in 2016 with a Red Onslaught Build-A-Figure wave. I think you're right. And I think hopefully with the movie coming up soon ish, we're going to see another dedicated Cap wave. I hope they do what they did with the Ant-Man wave, where we get some versions of characters in comic book in the movie form, and then we split it evenly with comic book figures. I think that's what we need to do. Kelly, absolutely agree, Jeff. I'll be passing on Select Cap too. I mean, the Mr. Fantastic figure was so well done. And because I don't want to be like, I'm bashing Marvel Select, because I think they do some great work. And I am going to do a list of all the figures they could be doing for Marvel Legends. Like their awesome Titanium Man. But yeah. 86 from the 90s, Hasbro released more cell shaded characters for Legends. You know, my absolute favorite cell shading character is Cyclops from that Dark Phoenix and Cyclops 2-pack. It's perfect to the comic book look. And I know some people are like, we need a new version of that, but it will only be an upgrade to me if it has the cell shading too. David Allen, could you use the egg body, or what's the guy's name? This is Egghead, right? Could use him. I believe so. I feel like because they decided not to make him super big / fat or really awkward size, I think he would work just fine. Let's see here. Let's take a look at some of these other shots. Yeah, I think he would work for Hank Pym, and that's our lab coat version. I think he's a great candidate for if he goes on sale and clearance to get another one and have, hey, here's Hank. Shoot, you could use this and do a Bruce Banner as well. Old school Sam Wilson figure Falcon would be nice. Add Nomad, and maybe a Red Skull Sleeper for a bath. Yep. Those would be really good choices. They would probably do a classic comic book Sam Wilson Captain America figure as Cap is out next year. It would make sense. Yeah, I guess, but I thought they released that one, with the 3-pack with wonky colored Vision and Kate Bishop Hawkeye. Marvel Select Classic Vision was one of my favorites of the year. I think that figure is really good, and I keep feeling like, oh man, I just wish you were just a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter, because that's what I want from Marvel Legends. And one of my guys sends me all these pictures with the Marvel Select Vision with the Avengers, and I'm kind of like, oh, 'oh, he's so close. But yeah, Ski Raider, Egghead must consume mass quantities. Yeah, he's a little, it looked like he's been on his diet. So yeah, I need him to pack on a little bit more pounds. All right, so I promise this. Let's get to it before it's so super late that everybody has to bounce. Time for the progress report. So for Marvel Legends, I'm just gonna have to go with what I've seen, and we'll break this all down later in terms of we'll revisit this, but this is just a progress report. It's the middle of the year, so now it's time to look at what Marvel Legends has done. So availability, I think they've done pretty well on this front. They've shown a lot of stuff, and outside of the Beyond Earth's Mightiest, we're seeing it on shelves. The X-Men Wave is now in stores. I saw the whole set. That was really cool. And while I was in Target and saw them, I was hearing Naughty by Nature's OPP, and I realized exactly how old I am now. Where I'm hearing this song, I'm like, I do not think that means what they think it means. So yeah, but availability has been pretty good. I don't think if you're interested in a figure, it's that hard to find them now. Between online retailers, between sales, you can get Marvel Legends figures you want. And I think they've done a really good job on that end. Top 5, it'll be a little bit skewed because I haven't opened a bunch, but I gotta go with Spiral. She looks amazing. Wonder Man looks really good. Hawkeye, I think, is going to be one of my top 5 at the end of the year. Destroyer looks really good too. I don't know, maybe should I put Cersei in there? I think she's a candidate for that because she looks really great. Of the options so far, we got that extra X-Men Retro Wave, the Build-A-Figure Cosmo Wave, Across the Spider-Verse, Puff Adder Wave, Chode Wave, and some people are starting to find that retro wave of Spider-Man with Elektra, Daredevil. So I think those are the options. But I think when we get him, I'm gonna get my guy Luke Cage, Power Man. He's gonna be in that list. As far as the worst figure, I gotta feel like it's gotta be Cosmo because Cosmo is a Build-A-Figure. You gotta spend so much money to get it. But I feel like maybe Super Adaptoid, who's $70. It doesn't even have the wings of Wasp and doesn't have the quiver of Hawkeye. It's just a really basic figure for $70. I feel like that has to be the worst figure we got. Let's see what you guys think. Jay Woods, Marvel Select has run all over Hasbro for Marvel characters this year with Beta Ray Bill, Red Hulk, Vision, Blade, and Apocalypse. The Apocalypse looks really good too. I agree. Any chance we get a Hulk? We got that one coming, the gray one with the Bruce Banner 2-pack, so probably not. Yeah, I had the Comic Sam from Toys R Us. Remember Toys R Us? Yes. Wah, wah, wah. 80s Kid from the 90s, Sky Cycle, Hawkeye, and Widow look cool. They do. They look really great. I can't wait to get both of them. Ski Raider, they stepped it up on Deliverance since the last couple of years. It was a ghost town trying to find Marvel Legends. It was like if you saw them on the pegs, you had to buy them because you were going to miss out if you waited. But now you can find them. I'm not a fan of the Quantum Mania Marvel Legends wave. There's also no Unmasked King Head. I don't like it when they put comic book figures and movie figure waves. See, I like that because if I don't really care about the movie, at least there's something I get involved in and engaged in with the wave. I understand it, but the way they've been cranking out so many movies and so many TV shows, it doesn't leave a lot of room for people who just want comic book figures. So it's a little balancing act for them, and I think they've navigated that pretty well. It's a lot better than that Guardians wave or the Thor Love and Thunder wave, which was half Guardians that they were like, hey, here's our Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 wave. So I kind of like when they do it that way. Jamie Lynn Parks. Personally, I hate when Marvel Legends splits the wave like that. I'm vastly more interested in the comic version than movie. If they split it, then do a deluxe and no BAF. So I guess kind of like that retro Spider-Man wave, although I think they need to do more BAFs. Ski Raider, Power Man, and Iron Fist 2-pack will be fire if they do it. Yes. Bucky Cap looks great too. That's another one that should be on that list, although he's a Walmart exclusive. So I'm a little bit worried about that one. Kidron, I do like to get the new Hawkeye figure with Hoverbike. Yep. David, you don't like the Ultimate Cat with Puff Adderhead. Oh man, that's not good. I thought a lot of people love that figure. I'm standing on my own, but I'm not alone. Avengers Assemble. Always we'll fight as one. Together we will fight. Fight as one. Love that show. It's awesome. I got Cap for the shield. All right, let's see. So we did that. The biggest announcement. I feel like the biggest announcement has to be the HasLab Giant Man, but since he's not there yet, I think this Beyond Earth's Mightiest campaign, I feel like the Spider-Man from last year was really underwhelming. The Ghost Rider anniversary came and went with nothing really. And I know the Engine of Vengeance was what they were holding everything up for, but we didn't get a Dan Cash. We didn't get a lot of Ghost Rider love, even beyond that HasLab presentation, which was underwhelming. But I think they've done really well by the Avengers. We've seen so many great waves of 2-packs. I really wish they would do more waves and build a figures, but these 2-packs have been really good. It hasn't felt like, oh man, I'm getting a figure that I really want with one that I hate. We've got the Eric Masterson version of Thor, Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, finally, Secret Wars Doom. We got Hawkeye, a new updated classic version, Black Knight and Cersei to help flesh out that 90s version of the Avengers. Lots of cool choices, lots of cool options. So I really love this campaign. And I think they've done really well by us on that. So the worst trend has to be the lack of Build-A-Figure waves. We're getting 2-packs, and that's really cool. But the Build-A-Figure was such a cool thing for me because we were getting a bonus figure. And a lot of times I would really want 5 of the 6. And then there was that 6 figures like, okay, I guess I got to get it because I really want this Build-A-Figure. I feel like they're kind of missing the mark with that. And I love to see more Build-A-Figure dedicated waves like the Puff Adder, like the Chode wave, where it's something that I really want and it looks cool. 80s kids from the 90s. Walmart is better with exclusives unless they cancel it on you. In that case, not so much. Hasbro should do Build a Droid with the Star Wars Black Series. They used to do that with the 3/4 inch figures back in 2009 or 8. Yeah. Jay Woods, maybe the worst trend is the fact that it's the X-Men's 60th anniversary as well, and no anniversary wave yet. I guess that Chode wave counts, but yeah, they're really not feeling the love or getting the same amount of love. I guess Hasbro can only feature one theme in a year. It's crazy. Kelly Cox, I'm hoping everyone that gets Ultimate Cap gets good ones. I've seen quite a few break in half. I only want the head. So that's one of those Build-A-Figure deals where it's like, I don't care about the figure. It sucks for everybody that wants that. And maybe I'll throw that on the worst trend as well. That shield looks really nice, and the Puff Adder head is where I'm at for Ultimate Cap. Love the Avengers Assemble series. I watch it on every year on my Blu-ray. Remember those? Man, listen, the way they're taking stuff off of streaming services and platforms is why I'm going to continue buying Blu-rays, 4Ks, whatever, because I don't want my TV enjoyment suddenly yanked because we're taking out the streaming platform now. Rant over on that one. 80s kid from the 90s. What figure should I buy? VHS Cyclops or Clone Wars Maul? Both. David Allen, I wish Hasbro would finish teams so then they could do deep cuts for everyone else. Yeah, I want to continue to get started with this. They're teams that are one member away from being completed. Then we can move on. X Factor 2, X Force, Freedom Force needs a couple more members, but you know what I mean. Defenders, Alpha Flight, they're teams that just need a few. New Warriors. There's so many other teams and so many different versions of teams, like the second wave of the Defenders that they could start. It'd be a lot of fun. And I kind of wish they'd do that, knock out some of these squads, so then they can go to other versions of teams. Would I be okay moving away from BAF and giving more accessories? It depends. I feel like so often their idea of other accessories are just different hand sculpts. If we had alternate head portraits, like with that Black Knight, where we got the wing version, we got the old school one, I would be okay with that, especially if it was a case where they swap a head sculpt and we get a different character, like with Thor's, for example. So if like we had a Thor, like this one that came with the Destroyer, we have the armored up version with the mask from Operation Galactic Storm, that era. Then we had just the basic classic Thor. That would be great. I wouldn't mind if that were the instance, but a fist, an open hand, or pointing hand, that's not enough for me in the accessory front. Andre, that Cosmo BAF, what an insult. Can't believe Hasbro did us like that. Worst BAF, in my opinion. I don't know. Were you around for the Hit Monkey era? That was not good. Mr. Cheeseburger, we need Iron Fist. Absolutely. If you had to pick one, depends how big a Star Wars fan are you. If you're a big Star Wars fan, I cannot say you should not get that Clone Wars Darth Maul. It was an awesome figure. Speaking of teams, haven't finished yet. have they ever done Stable's Wild Pack members? I know they did Silver Sable and Sandman. Was Palladium in that team too? I think that'd be kind of fun for them to do. And Beltran. Hey Jeff, if you had to give up a line, which would it be? That's going to be a whole other topic. I think we just need to make that a whole show. But if I had to give up one of those three, it'd have to be Star Wars because I'm not quitting my other ones. I feel like they've almost given me most of the Star Wars figures. I want most of them, but if I had to, but I don't. So I'm going to keep getting all three. So for this July-December outlook for Marvel Legends, I think it's pretty good because we're seeing lots of really good figures. I mean, Luke Cage, and I gotta assume we're gonna see an Iron Fist 2-pack with him. Hopefully more X-Men, but all these Avengers, the HasLab reveal, it seems like a really good year to be into Marvel Legends. Like that earlier Spider-Man wave was kind of questionable, but they've shown some really great stuff. And I feel like they're going to have so many contenders for their best figure of the year with these Avengers that I think it's a really good time to get into this line. Or if you've been kind of lapsed as a Marvel Legends collector, it's a really good, really interesting time to get into it because it seems like they've got a lot of strong contenders coming out for the rest of the year. Does MCU need to reboot? I think they don't need to reboot so much as they need to stop trying to throw us off like they did in Eternals with a certain character heel turn that made no sense just because, hi, you didn't see that coming. They're not Quicksilver. I don't need them to surprise me. I think what worked with phase 1 through 3 was they weren't shaking things up and going crazy. It was like, hey, this is kind of what you think is going to happen. And we're going to deliver that really well. So when they announced Civil War, oh, shoot, they didn't do a thing where it was Black Widow leading the team against Captain America and Iron Man. It was just, this is what that was in the comic. This is what we're doing. That's what we delivered. And I will say Civil War comic was better than Civil War. I'm sorry, Civil War movie was better than Civil War comic. Kelly Cox, what a time to punch out. Great live, Jeff. Have a great weekend, everybody. Yeah, so let's go back here in our grade for Hasbro's Marvel Legends line so far in 2023. This progress report, I'm gonna go with a B+, and I think the only reason it's B+ is because there's so many more waves to go, and I don't have this Ant-Man in hand just yet. I think he's another candidate for top 5. Hawkeye, I'm still waiting on. So there's a lot of stuff to get, but I think if they all deliver like they appear and will, then I think they're going to have a really good, maybe A- year. Jay, do I forecast any more Avengers wave? I think so. I think with this HasLab of Giant Man, they want to keep that momentum rolling. So another wave or another set of 2-packs is definitely something I think they're going to do. Or if not, then they may pivot and do more X-Men related waves. I think if they're really focused on 2-packs, they could do the original team of X-Men, do, the box set. Maybe they do it as a 5-pack through Amazon or just 2-packs of Cyclops and Marvel Girl, Beast and Iceman, and then do a deluxe Angel. Maybe that's a really easy way for them to do that. Kidron, I didn't think Eternals was that bad. I think the problem with the movie was that it kept jumping back and forth between the past and present. Ant-Man Quantumania wasn't that bad as everybody makes it. I agree. I like Quantumania more than I think a lot of people did. My only thing was it really had me hyped up and excited to see more Kang. And I don't know if I bought the Kang, a villain who takes on the entire Avengers squad, should ever get beaten just by Ant-Man. So 80s kids from the 90s. I'm forecasting a Bleeding Edge, Iron Man, and Modern Thor and Classic Wasp. I think those are all really valid and really likely choices. So we'll see. Blake, I think in the last few months, Marvel Legends got a most improved award versus last year with the many disappointments. Yeah, I feel like every podcast I was going, bam, Marvel Legends, what are you doing? You guys are just stinging up the joint. But this year, they've really done a 180 for me. And I'm really excited. The Avengers Puff Adder wave really got me hyped up for what they would do because I felt like it had a little bit of everything. And I think that's when Hasbro's rolling with the brand. It's a little bit of everything. So if you're into the Avengers, here's all these different eras of Avengers. If you're into X-Men, we've got 70s characters like Corzar. We've got astonishing X-Men, Cyclops, Emma Frost. We've got modern like Kid Quantum, and there are lots of characters in there that stretches everything. Fang from the Imperial Guard. So I love when they do it that way. And I think we've seen that really play out with this Beyond Earth's Mightiest initiative too. So definitely most improved. And I think as we continue on with these awards, we're going to probably end up giving them the most improved. Jay, would I be against the Masters of Evil team wave as part of the Avengers 60th? Absolutely not. I'm all about the villains. Bring on the bad guys. And the Masters of Evil represent such a cool team because they beat the Avengers. They beat them several times when they had Wonder Man sneak attack and sucker them. That's one. Of course, Siege. Love to see the entire Masters of Evil from that arc in figure form in Marvel Legends. And I know we've got some as Thunderbolts, but I love to see them in their MOE attire. And they're kind of there, but I need revamped, updated versions of the Wrecking Crew. That's another idea for a 2-pack where we get them in their Secret Wars looks, and they don't need to be super massive, just the same height, scale as that Thor, Hercules figures. That's an easy 2-pack or 4-pack if they want to go that route. Kindred, Thor: Love and Thunder was also criminally underrated. I can understand some of the hate it's gotten for like not much of gore. They never did explain what happened to Lady Sif. I don't want to spoil it, but I didn't like the fact that they were making a joke of something that happened to Sif. And I felt like they were going too hard on the humor and the jokes on that one. Melter Legends figure would be cool. Is Melter in any good Avengers graphic novels? But if you get the omnibus and the original Avengers, he's in there a lot as part of the Masters of Evil. And, you know, he's one of those villains that's not taking on the whole squad, but he's a good Iron Man villain, and he's a part of the Masters of Evil the second gen and the third group. So he's necessary and essential. I also do understand where they could have had Thor question if he was worthy of being a god or not more in Love and Thunder. Yeah, I felt like the biggest problem with Love and Thunder was the Thor from Ragnarok that Taika had was kind of necessary because he's funny and a little bit more of his personality showed. But that character evolved so much in Infinity War and Endgame that I think to try to revert to that character from Ragnarok was a mistake. I felt like if he had just kind of continued down the path of, hey, is Thor feeling worthy enough, would have been really good for him to take the story in the whole direction of Love and Thunder. But he went way too heavy on the humor, the goat's brain every 5 minutes. A lot of stuff I didn't like with that one. Beltran. I just got Nightwing yesterday. Me too. Can't wait to open them up. And expecting Doc Ock 2-pack, Ant-Man, Mafex, Magneto, and the No Way Home. Spider-Man shipping soon. Do I have a problem? No, you do not. At least you shouldn't ask me. I'm going to be a super enabler and say, problem? What problem? Get more. So, yeah. All right, well, fellas, let's see here. Can we get a Marvel now Captain America? I think they need to do an updated version. That one's a blocky figure. And since they redid the Ultimate Captain America, I think they have some of the parts they could use for it. So maybe that's an idea, an option. Movies are like pizzas. Some like pineapples and others like anchovies. I was disappointed because I expected Jason Aaron's story, and that's not what I got. Yeah, I think that's kind of the problem when they start doing these adaptations, sort of, where they show, hey, here's Jane Thor and here's Gore the God Butcher. And I don't quite deliver what that comic is, especially for fans of the comic. And I always think with the comic book movies, your initial audience, the ones that will go tell everybody it's awesome, it's amazing, are your comic book fans. And if you disappoint them, they're going to go stay away from it. And people who are kind of like casual MCU fans are going to be like, okay, you're right, I won't go see it. So I think that's what happened. So B+ for our good friends at Marvel Legends with their Marvel Legends line, and cannot wait to see what they've got coming up for the rest of the year. So see if I can find this again real fast before we wrap this bad boy up. So we know for sure Monday we're going to see we're going to see the HasLab from G.I. Joe. We'll see what's going on that front. Did you hear about the Thunderbolts movie shutting down because of the writer's strike? I was looking forward to seeing that movie because I've been reading the Thunderbolts classic. I've been liking it. See, for me, I feel like they really could have just done the Thunderbolts comic book because there are no Avengers, and a group of superheroes in colorful attire that are actually the Masters of Evil run by Baron Zemo would make for an awesome movie. And I understand why they decided to just take the anti-heroes and from Black Widow and Captain America and put them into a movie. I just wish they had gone a different route. I really enjoyed the first Thor movie. It was good and simple. It reminded me a bit of the first X-Men movie. Some deep cuts like the Destroyer, and it's pretty true to the character. Yeah, did you not like the Dark World? I thought those first two Thor films are kind of underrated, but I understand why people didn't love them like some other movies. Like they were the least of the at least of the first wave of Iron Man, Cap, Thor, and Hulk films. I have some disagreements on the rest of them, but yeah. James, see y'all Monday. And yes, it's about time to wind this bad boy down. So yeah, thank you all as always for rolling with me and hanging out and talking figures. I think based on the demographics of what everybody said in the poll, G.I. Joe should be next. But I want to hold off with the G.I. Joe Classified Series progress report until the end. I'm going to say that until the June 29th poll or edition of the live, because I think we're about to see a whole bunch more G.I. Joe reveals. So let's break them down at the end. So I think I'm going to tackle Star Wars Black Series next week. I told you I'll be back on Monday talking about the G.I. Joe HasLab reveal. I cannot wait to talk about that with you all. So thank you as always for watching. Thank you all for commenting and being so cool to each other. Really appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all back on Monday. This episode of Loud's Figure Files has been filed.